Somewhere in the great dark beyond, essentially space or the universe, there are planets that hold a soul, a world soul. These aren't common and can form into planet-sized cosmic beings known as Titans. Titans are deeply intertwined with the cosmic force called Arcane, representing the essence of order itself. Arcane is not just a power source for them, it is their life force. For instance, the original Well of Eternity, a massive reservoir of arcane energy, was akin to the lifeblood of Azeroth's world soul. Titans also exhibit a curious vulnerability to fell magic, their polar opposite. Despite this susceptibility, mature Titans remain impervious to the corrupting influences of the Void Lords. When a Titan is born, what happens to the planet that contained this colossal being? Well, the quote from Chronicles describes it as cosmic winds howled across their gigantic forms. Bodies shrouded in a cloak of stardust, skin crisscrossed with silvery mountain peaks, and oceans shimmering with latent magic. One theory suggests that perhaps the planet's continents end up resting on the Titan itself, as proposed by a Reddit user named Solaris. Another option is that the planet has the continents floating in space, similar to Outland. Alternatively, the Titan could fix the planet to how it was while it was living within it, using their power and the spirit energy from the planet itself to put it back together before departing. Although I'm not totally sure if that would be possible, but that's just a theory that I have. But let's go to the Pantheon's origins. The first Titan to awaken for reasons unknown was Aman'Thul. He believed other Titans were slumbering in the Great Dark and set out to explore the cosmos, finding and nurturing emerging world souls until they awoke and joined him. After some time, he had awoken his siblings, forming the Pantheon, which consisted of Aman'Thul, High Father of the Pantheon, Ionar the Lifebinder, Norgannon, Keeper of Celestial Magics and Lore, Galganeth, Lord of the Skies and Roaring Seas, Khaz'goroth, Shaper and Forger of Worlds, Agrimar, Lieutenant of the Great Sargeras, and Sargeras the Defender. In the ancient ages of the universe, the Pantheon tirelessly molded and arranged various worlds, hoping to discover other Titans. Yet their quest remained fruitless. While no other Titans were found, they summoned beings known as the Constellar to observe and watch over the ordered worlds. The Constellar were tasked with monitoring worlds for signs of instability. When needed, they could activate a failsafe to cleanse a planet of life, resetting its evolutionary path. This process mirrored the actions of Algalon the Observer within Ulduar. While the rest of the Pantheon explored the universe and other planets, they sent Sargeras to deal with demons spawning from the Twisting Nether, as they threatened the order the Pantheon was bringing to worlds. Sargeras realized the demons were wielding the powers of the Void, suggesting that more powerful beings sought to influence the physical universe hidden behind the veil of the Void. Now, since the Void is such a big part of the Titan's lore, I figured I should talk about what it is. In the dawn of time before the cosmos, only the light and the void existed. At first, the light was all there was, a boundless, ever-shifting sea of life energy. Yet as some of its radiance faded, empty pockets of cold nothingness emerged. From these pockets of nothingness, the void emerged, a dark, devouring force craving to twist creation inward and consume all energy. As the void expanded, it clashed with the light, sparking explosions that brought about the physical universe. The most unstable energies formed the Twisting Nether, where the light and the void collided, plunging it into chaos. The Void Lords and their minions have been engaged in an endless power struggle with the other cosmic forces for ages. The light and the void as opposing forces have clashed since the beginning of time, waging their epic battle across countless worlds and affecting countless lives. The void sees the light as insatiable and stagnant, offering only fleeting peace in exchange for absolute obedience. The Void has also attacked the Shadowlands in the distant past with nearly limitless forces, causing immense damage to Bastion. Only the Kyrian's heroic efforts prevented the complete destruction of the Shadowlands. Now, the old gods were created to corrupt Titan worlds, including Azeroth, with the ultimate goal of allowing the Void Lords to manifest in the physical cosmos. The Pantheon and Sargeras have both tried to oppose the Void, with the Pantheon destroying the Black Empire and Sargeras launching the Burning Crusade against them. It was believed that a Void-corrupted Titan would be unstoppable, even by the Pantheon. At one point, the Void attacked and destroyed every demon on a Legion prison world. a fate described as worse than enslavement by Lothroxian. The Naru, likely Zira, warned Illidan that the Void was a greater threat than the Burning Legion. Harbinger Skris claimed that not even the Legion could make the countless servants of the Void submit. Xal'atath suggested that the Legion's invasion was futile, as the Void could corrupt dreams and demons, and not even the extinction of all things would really save the Legion from the Void. In the realm of reality, order is often seen as arcane magic, while disorder takes the form of destructive fel magic. Fel energy born from the collision of light and void in the twisting nether is not only destructive but also highly addictive. It sustains itself by draining life from living beings and consuming their souls, leaving nothing behind. Surprisingly, even a small sacrifice like a couple of fish or a few strands of seaweed can fuel this powerful magic. Fel energy and arcane energy are opposites, with Fel being naturally harmful to Titans. Fel behaves much like radiation, spreading through an area and corrupting anything nearby over time. Its presence is often accompanied by a distinct smell of sulfur and brimstone. When in physical form, Fel can take the shape of a green, gooey substance, such as the blood of pit lords, which causes mutations in those who consume it, leading to the growth of spikes, horns, scales, and wings. Felfire, another manifestation of Fel magic, is a flame that is not only deadly to the touch but also burns much hotter than regular fire. Unlike normal fires, Felfire cannot be extinguished by conventional means. However, the water from enchanted water elementals has shown some effectiveness against it. Fel Reavers, powerful constructs of the Legion, are powered by a scalding core of Felfire. While Sargeras suspected that more powerful beings were trying to influence the physical universe, he faced another problem. The demons he defeated didn't actually die. They were merely sent to the Twisting Nether to be reborn into new bodies, returning to torment the worlds within the Great Dark. With the increased demon activity, the Pantheon grew concerned and sent Agramar to assist Sargeras. Despite Agramar's inexperience, he quickly learned and the two easily defeated their enemies. Fighting alongside Agramar allowed Sargeras to study the nature of the Twisting Nether, learning to manipulate its chaotic energies. He created a prison world known as Mardoom to contain the defeated demons. Now let's delve into the Twisting Nether. In simple terms, it's a dimension of chaotic magics that connects the various worlds of the universe. It is a realm of infinite perception, where every traveler sees it differently based on their circumstances, form, and state of mind. Illidan, projecting his spirit into the Nether, perceived it as a dark void dotted with countless stars, with his homeworld blazing behind him. He saw a snake-like energy representing the portals used by the Burning Legion. Turalyon, on the other hand, viewed the Nether as a chaotic realm where the energies of light and shadow clashed, creating a sky of pitch blackness filled with conflicting powers. He saw countless worlds on the horizon, appearing close yet impossibly distant. Here, the forces of chaos and order, life and death, mingled and clashed. Despite being separate from the physical universe, the Twisting Nether contains physical objects, including planets, and transcends all realities. Time flows differently in the Nether, making it impossible to gauge how much time has passed. For Turalyon and Ilaria, their battles in the Nether spanned 1,000 years from their perspective, while only a few decades passed on Azeroth. Time in the Nether is fluid and unpredictable, with a week on Azeroth potentially equating to months, years, or even centuries in the Nether. Now returning to Sargeras. After his adventures with Agramar, there was a noticeable peace thanks to their actions in imprisoning the demons. They decided to split up to cover more of the universe, parting ways. During his travels, Sargeras learned of the Void and the monstrous aberrations known as Old Gods when he encountered a Void-infested world. He ruthlessly interrogated demons known as Nathrazim for information on the Void, learning that Void Lords sent Old Gods into the cosmos to infect worlds that housed Titans, creating a being so powerful that even the Pantheon couldn't stop it. This information enraged Sargeras, and he destroyed the planet, killing the world soul within with a single swing of his blade. When he returned to the Pantheon and told them of the Void and its plans to corrupt a Titan, they disagreed with his decision to destroy the planet. They believed there was a way to save the planet from total corruption, but Sargeras couldn't be swayed. After enough debate, he knew they wouldn't see it his way. He argued that a lifeless world was better than one dominated by the Void, suggesting that life could take root again in the Great Dark. The Pantheon disagreed and Sargeras decided to leave, storming off and never returning. Following Sargeras' departure, Aggramar took up his mantle as a protector and set out to keep watch over the worlds. During one of his long journeys, Aggramar sensed the tranquil dreams of a powerful world soul emanating from the distant reaches of the Great Dark. However, upon reaching the planet, he was horrified to find that the old gods had already infested the world, shrouding its skies in void energies. Realizing that Sargeras had been right about the plans of the old gods and their Void Lord masters, Aggramar immediately returned to the Pantheon to inform them of his discovery. He urged the other Titans to take immediate action to save the nascent world soul, which would later be known as Azeroth. Eonar the Lifebinder quickly sided with Aggramar and managed to convince the rest of the Pantheon to save this lost sibling of theirs. Due to their colossal size, Aggramar feared that direct action from the Pantheon could irreparably damage or even kill the World Soul. Instead, he proposed the creation of the Titan Forge to do battle in their stead. As the members of the Pantheon imbued part of their powers into the Keepers, the greatest of the Titan Forge. Aggramar imparted his courage and strength to Tyr, who would become the greatest warrior of the Titan Forged. The Keepers were made from Titan steel, with the ingots used in their construction forged by Aggramar himself. Along with Tyr, there were other Keepers who were picked to be empowered by the Titans to keep Azeroth safe, and those were Khaz'goroth empowered Arquidus, Eonar empowered Freya, Golganeth empowered Hodor and Thorim, Norgannon empowered Loken and Mimiron, Aman'Thul empowered Ra and Odin, and Aggramar empowered Tyr. While the Titan Forge achieved considerable success against the forces of the old gods, the Pantheon became increasingly worried about Yasha-Ra, the most powerful of these malevolent beings. Yasha-Ra began poisoning the minds of the Titan Forge, drawing out their fears and darkening their thoughts. Fearing that the old god would prove too much for the Titan Forged, Aman'Thul took matters into his own hands. He reached down through the stormy skies and forcefully tore Yasha-Ra from the crust of the world. But by doing so, he tore a wound within Azeroth herself. Yasha-Ra wasn't just on the surface. Its tendrils had bored more deeply through Azeroth than the Pantheon ever imagined. Horrified by this, even the Pantheon realized that they couldn't risk killing the other old gods in such a manner. So they did the only other thing they could do, and imprisoned the old gods and hoped to contain their evil forever. Before they left Azeroth in the care of the Titan Forged, Aman'Thul commissioned the Consular Algalon to watch over the planet. I'll go over more of what the Keepers did in their own video, but in this one I'd like to keep it more focused on the Titans, as much as possible. After Sargeras stormed away from the Pantheon, Aggramar embarked on a solitary quest that eventually led him near Draenor, a world yet to be discovered by the Titans. Despite not sensing the presence of a world soul, Aggramar found himself captivated by Draenor's unique qualities. The planet boasted a rich tapestry of vibrant plant life and untamed wilderness unlike anything he had encountered before. However, amidst the beauty of Draenor lay a looming threat, the Evergrowth, a colossal botanical hive mind. Aggramar foresaw a grim fate for Draenor if the Evergrowth continued its unchecked expansion. This ferocious entity threatened to consume everything in its path, including the very essence of the world itself. Driven by his inherent desire for order, Aggramar sought to preserve Draenor's life while curbing the Evergrowth's destructive advance. His solution lay in neutralizing the Spore Mounds, the core of the Evergrowth's power. Recognizing the danger in his own immense power posed to Draenor, Aggramar opted to create a powerful servant in his likeness to confront the Spore Mounds, thus ensuring the world's delicate balance remained intact. Aggramar's colossal hand swept over the world, weaving its elemental energies into a massive storm. With a mighty gesture, he unleashed this tempest into Draenor's largest mountain, the energy surging through the crust and reverberating across the globe. The mountain stirred to life, rising on colossal legs. Thus, Grond was born, serving as Aggramar's instrument on Draenor. Commanded by Aggramar, Grond embarked on a mission to conquer the rampant plant life. As he traversed the land, Grond reshaped the terrain, carving pathways and separating the Evergrowth. Upon encountering the nearest spore mound, Grond vanquished the creature effortlessly, showcasing his formidable power. As Grond clashed with the spore mounds, his body fragments sprang to life, imbued with the essence of life. Though Grond eventually fell to Batan, the final spore mound, Aggramar found solace in the resilient Colossals. Though not as formidable as Grond individually, their sheer numbers cast imposing shadows over the land. Crafting colossal discs inscribed with Titan runes from Grond's remains, Agramar fortified the colossals, granting them enhanced strength and resilience. Meanwhile, the Evergrowth began to reclaim the lands that Grond had liberated. As Agramar unleashed the colossals against Batan and the Genesaur, he sensed a consular's death in the Great Dark beyond. He departed to investigate, leaving behind a promise to return. However, he never fulfilled that promise. While the Titans diligently shaped the cosmos, Sargeras secluded himself, consumed by contemplation on the universe's plight. Overwhelmed by fear, doubt, and despair, he concluded that the only salvation from the encroaching Void Lords lay in purging all life from the flawed cosmos. Thus, the Burning Crusade was born. Realizing the need for a formidable army, Sargeras journeyed to Mardum, a world saturated with fell energies. With a single devastating blow, he shattered the prison world, unleashing its demonic denizens and triggering an explosion of fell energy. The cataclysmic event twisted Sargeras into a being of seething hatred, his form contorted beyond recognition. Here's a quote from Chronicles Volume 1 that describes what happened to Sargeras when he destroyed Mardum, and I thought it was just a great descriptor. Violent energies enveloped Sargeras, surging through his veins and searing his very soul. His eyes burst in gouts of emerald fire. Fell volcanoes ignited across his once noble form, splitting his skin apart and revealing an endless furnace of blistering hate. Yet despite these horrific changes, his mind had not changed. He was locked on the idea that life itself had to be extinguished to protect it from the Void Lords. The destruction of Mardum not only released its demonic horde, but also tore a rift between the Twisting Nether and the Great Dark, creating a blazing emerald scar, a permanent testament to Sargeras' betrayal and the cataclysmic events that unfolded. Sargeras empowered the demon horde before him, augmenting their size or intelligence with his own might. He presented them with a stark choice: join his cause or face annihilation. While the majority agreed, a defiant minority rallied under the banner of the Dreadlord Uthalesh. In response to this challenge, Sargeras forged a mighty scythe from the blazing fires of Mardum's demise. With this weapon, he harvested the souls of the rebellious demons, imprisoning them anew. Uthalesh, displaying unmatched will, was the final soul to be consumed. Sargeras christened the scythe, later known as Uthalesh the Deadwind Harvester, in honor of the Nathrazim who had dared to oppose him. Over the ages, Sargeras bestowed the weapon upon Nathrazim, Doomlords, and even demigods, only to witness their spirits consumed by the scythe upon their defeat. With the rebellious demons crushed, Sargeras forged his Burning Legion. This new army descended upon its first world, eradicating several mortal civilizations and sentient species. Sargeras himself struck down the consular assigned to watch over the planet, leaving devastation in his wake. Agramar was the first to discover the fallen consular's demise. Confronting his former mentor, Agramar demanded an explanation. Realizing his words could not sway Sargeras, Agramar challenged him to single combat. The battle raged fiercely until both warriors' blades shattered in an explosion of fell and arcane power. Badly injured, Agramar withdrew and alerted the Pantheon of Sargeras' treachery. The Pantheon and the Legion, poised for battle, clashed near the planet Nihilum. Aman'Thul implored Sargeras to abandon his destructive path, revealing the existence of Azeroth, a distant world soul with the potential to challenge the Void Lords. Despite the High Father's plea, Sargeras remained steadfast in his belief that all life must be purged. Having fought alongside Sargeras in the past, Agramar made a final effort to reason with his former mentor. Approaching unarmed, he recounted their glorious battles, hoping to stir memories of their shared past. In his unyielding resolve, Sargeras let out a howl of both fury and sorrow as he swung his blade, nearly cleaving Agramar in two. But while his body was destroyed, Sargeras would capture Agramar's soul and corrupt it to do his bidding in the future. The Pantheon, infuriated by this act of betrayal, unleashed a relentless assault on Sargeras. However, they were no match for the overwhelming fell might of the fallen Titan and soon fell in battle, unable to withstand his power. Sargeras declared victory and continued his burning crusade, seeking to corrupt Azeroth, which he saw as a threat to the universe if corrupted. Unbeknownst to Sargeras, Norgannon, the Titan of Magic, had cast a final spell. The spell preserved the souls of the Pantheon as their bodies perished, sending their souls hurtling through the cosmos where they all reached Azeroth, where they collided with and entered the bodies of the Keepers. Aman'Thul's spirit eventually collided with Ra, his most devoted keeper on Azeroth. Ra, unlike the other keepers, recognized the significance of the powerful surge that accompanies Aman'Thul's arrival. He carefully extracted the Titan's soul fragment and safeguarded it in a mountain vault near the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. Years later, the ambitious Mogu warlord Lei Shen stumbled upon Aman'Thul's stored essence. Absorbing its power, Lei Shen used it to forge the mighty Mogu Empire, shaping the course of Azeroth's history. Now, as mentioned before, all the Titan's souls arrived back on Azeroth and entered the bodies of the Keepers, but eventually Sargeras would capture the spirits of the Pantheon. It doesn't say how he did it or anything, but the wiki just says that he was able to capture their spirits except for Eonar, who escaped. The rest of the Pantheon, consisting of Aman'Thul, Khaz'garath, Norgannon, and Golganeth, were tortured by the Coven of Shavara on the planet Argus with the goal of breaking them. But we'll get more to them when we get to the Legion part of this. After vanquishing the Pantheon, Sargeras faced a dilemma. His Legion had suffered considerable loss in the Battle of Nihilum, revealing a flaw in his demon ranks. While fearsome, many demons lack strategic acumen, hindering Sargeras' ability to coordinate his forces effectively. Seeking a solution, he turned his gaze to Argus, a world inhabited by the Eridar, a race known for their intellect and mastery of magic. Appearing before the Eridar's leaders, Kil'jaeden, Archimonde, and Velen, in a guise of radiant splendor, Sargeras offered them a compelling bargain: unimaginable power, status, and the chance to shape worlds into paradises in exchange for their loyalty. While Velen hesitated, troubled by doubts, Kil'jaeden and Archimonde eagerly accepted the offer. However, a vision from the Naru and the Adamal crystal granted Velen insight into the true nature of Sargeras' offer. Realizing the impending doom, Velen and a faction of followers fled, becoming the Draenei. Meanwhile, the remaining Eridar succumbed to Sargeras' corrupting influence, transforming into monstrous demons. Their minds clouded by fell whispers, and their once peaceful world plunged into chaos. Sargeras charged Kil'jaeden the Deceiver with a dark mission: to seek out the most malevolent races in the universe and enlist them into the Legion's dreaded ranks. Meanwhile, Archimonde the Defiler stood poised to lead Sargeras' colossal armies into battle against any who dared defy the Titan's will. With his forces amassed and obedient, Sargeras unleashed his raging hordes into the boundless expanse of the Great Dark. To this day, the full extent of the worlds consumed and ravaged by his burning legion on their unholy crusade remain shrouded in mystery. After the Legion's formation, Sargeras entrusted an Uranasi named Brood Queen Tirana with the Sargerite keystone, appointing her as ruler of the shattered realm of Mardum. Additionally, Sargeras extended an offer to the formidable Aldrich people to join his burning legion. However, the Aldrich remained steadfast and incorruptible, slaying countless demons before their eventual extinction. Sargeras, through an avatar, personally confronted and killed their greatest champion, claiming his legendary weapons, the Aldrich Warblades. These blades would later find their way into the hands of Kil'jaeden and his loyal demon hunter. During one conquest, the Legion corrupted the leaders of a world, slaying its heroes. Yet a lone child, ablaze with righteous fury, sneaked into the Legion's stronghold. There, amidst the resting Eridar guards, the child slew several, including Gorma. When Sargeras discovered his hound slain, his wrath knew no bounds. The world and its inhabitants were reduced to ash, scattered across the vastness of the Great Dark. Mephistroth, a cunning dreadlord, saw potential in Gorma even after its demise. He extracted the Fellhound's fangs and carried them to a demon forge on Argus. There, he crafted two legendary daggers, the Fangs of the Devourer, imbued with the power to manipulate air and light, granting their wielders unparalleled stealth. Sargeras, impressed by Mephistroth's creation, eagerly awaited a worthy bearer for these potent weapons. Finding the right wielder was no easy task. Loyalty was paramount, and the risk of betrayal loomed over the Legion's choice. Skilled assassins, though invaluable, were known for their cunning and potential for treachery. Sargeras could not risk Gorma's legacy falling into enemy hands. After much deliberation, Sargeras identified a candidate worthy of the Fangs: Akari, an Eridar tracker whose exploits in Legion invasions had earned her renown. Summoned to Argus, Akari was presented with the opportunity to wield the Fangs of the Devourer. Sargeras promised her unparalleled power and skill in exchange for her unwavering loyalty. Akari, recognizing the grim bargain, accepted. She would become a living weapon, a harbinger of death, forever bound to the will of the Legion. Sargeras set his sights on a small, fiercely independent world, anticipating their stubborn resistance to a direct Legion assault. Recognizing their potential susceptibility to fear and paranoia, he saw an opportunity. This world became Akari's inaugural mission, her first test with the fangs of the Devourer. Infiltrating the planet's defenses alone, she sowed discord and terror, ensuring its eventual fall to the Legion. Having proven her loyalty and effectiveness, Akari became an invaluable asset to Sargeras. Though her will was now bound to his, her cunning and deception remained. Seizing an opportunity, she requested permission to traverse the Twisting Nether, a realm of chaos and unpredictability. Intrigued by her request, Sargeras granted her leave, eager to witness the havoc she would wreak in his name. Upon her return to Sargeras, Akari bore not just new skills, but a profound revelation: fear. While a potent weapon was not always the most effective. She advocated for a new approach, one that favored subtlety over sheer terror. An assassin who struck unseen instilled fear, but one who remained entirely unknown bred complacency. A hidden threat, after all, was one that could not be anticipated or prepared for. In the ancient past of Azeroth, a pivotal moment unfolded 10,000 years before the Dark Portal opened. Queen Azara, reigning over the Elven Highborn, wielded magic with unrivaled mastery, treating it as a mere plaything. In this era of splendor, Sargeras finally pinpointed the planet's location, drawn by the immense arcane power emanating from the Well of Eternity. To pave the way for his invasion, Sargeras called upon Azara, recognizing her as a key to his machinations. The Queen, awestruck by Sargeras' immense power, fell sway to his subtle manipulations, believing him to be a deity deserving of worship. Seduced by promises of knowledge and power, Azara consented to grant Sargeras entry into her world, harboring hopes of a divine union. Thus the stage was set for the first cataclysmic invasion of Azeroth. Through the savage onslaught led by Archimonde and the Pit Lord Manaroth, Kalimdor quaked under the relentless assault, its very essence drained by the insatiable hunger of the demonic horde. Meanwhile, Sargeras, the mastermind behind the invasion, lurked in the ethereal shadows of the Twisting Nether, biding his time as Azara labored to fortify the portal for his grand entrance. During this interlude, Sargeras orchestrated a series of dark deeds. He twisted the noble Xavius into the first of the Satyr, a grotesque fusion of man and demon. To Illidan's Stormrage, he bestowed the gift of dark sorcery, searing the Night Elf's eyes and adorning him with arcane markings, marking him forevermore. Additionally, he bestowed the malevolent scythe of Uthalesh upon Setail, commanding her to harvest the souls of Azeroth's defiant inhabitants, commencing in the region that would later be known as Deadwind Pass. At the pivotal moment of Sargeras' impending arrival on Azeroth, the Night Elves, bolstered by Cenarius' woodland allies and Alexstras's mighty dragons, rallied their forces and revolted against the Highborn in a cataclysmic clash. This epic battle not only obliterated the Well of Eternity, but also shattered much of the continent into ruins. The defenders of Azeroth paid a heavy toll to banish the demons back to the Twisting Nether, yet they achieved a historic victory, the first time Sargeras had ever been thwarted. As the portal rift to the Twisting Nether collapsed in a dazzling surge of arcane energy, the very fabric of reality was torn asunder. This cataclysmic event caused a colossal portion of Kalimdor to plummet into the sea, leaving in its wake a massive swirling vortex of water, an eternal testament to the well's demise, known thereafter as the Maelstrom. In the novel War of the Ancients, Krasis, Ronan, and Brox find themselves thrust back in time, where they joined forces with the demigod Cenarius and the dragon aspects to battle the Burning Legion. In this altered timeline, Sargeras' initial invasion of Azeroth once again meets failure. As the war reaches its climax, Broxigar takes a daring leap through the portal, wielding the axe of Cenarius forged by Malfurion Stormrage. He valiantly slays many demons, drawing the attention of Sargeras himself. In a final desperate act to stall the Titan and protect his allies, Broxigar charges at Sargeras, managing to wound the seemingly invincible being in the leg, a remarkable achievement for any warrior. Although Sargeras ultimately kills Broxigar, the orc's courageous act leaves a crucial mark. Seizing the momentary distraction caused by Krasus' power, Malfurion exploits an opening in the portal's defenses, launching an assault that destabilizes it. Defiant to the end, Sargeras, refusing to accept defeat, steps into the collapsing portal in a futile bid to reconstruct it. Instead, he is cast into the Nether as the gateway implodes around him. After his defeat at the Well of Eternity, Sargeras wasted no time in devising a new strategy to infiltrate Azeroth. He understood that a static portal was no longer viable. Maintaining such a gateway required an immense amount of power, and the most promising source had been destroyed in his previous attempt. Furthermore, the elaborate preparations and spellcasting of the Highborn had alerted the defenders, leading to his downfall. To overcome Azeroth's guardians, Sargeras needed a method of entry that would catch them off guard. Hence, he ordered the Eridar to craft a device capable of tearing open temporary rifts between worlds, allowing a fraction of his essence to pass through. While this meant he couldn't manifest in Azeroth in his full destructive might, it would pave the way for his avatar to spearhead the Legion's invasion or enact more subtle schemes. The device also posed a threat to the stability of the physical universe, potentially leading to its collapse, but Sargeras viewed these risks as mere side effects. In a grand and sinister endeavor, legions of magi performed dark rites, channeling numerous portals into a single staff. This empowered artifact was then projected across the vast cosmos, intricately woven into the fabric of reality, like a thread waiting to unravel the seams of the physical universe on command. To fuel this monumental task, 100 warlocks sacrificed 100 demons, carefully chosen from the Legion's ranks that had partaken in the failed invasion of Azeroth. Thus, the malevolent jeweled scepter of Sargeras was forged. After the chaos of the War of the Ancients settled, Sargeras was visited by a vision. The Well of Eternity once again collapsed, this time dragging him down to the heart of Azeroth. In that fleeting moment, he beheld the slumbering world soul of Azeroth, and to his astonishment, the world soul opened one eye and fixed its gaze upon the Dark Titan. This encounter captivated Sargeras deeply. Since then, thoughts of Azeroth's world soul have seldom left his mind. Driven by his obsession, Sargeras commanded the Eridar who crafted the scepter to crown it with a representation of that singular mesmerizing orb. Adjacent to it, the Eridar placed 2 Nathrezim wings, symbolizing Sargeras' vision for the world soul, twisted, demonic, and above all, under his dominion. In the millennia following the Well of Eternity's collapse, Setail, still on Azeroth, grew increasingly ambitious, strong-willed, and supremely confident. Her initial mission to prove herself to Sargeras had evolved into a quest for unparalleled power, witnessing the heights she could achieve with Uthalesh. She questioned whether her goals had been too modest. Setail left a trail of destruction in her wake, massacring thousands, transforming Deadwind Pass into a tomb, and unraveling a magical nexus of immense power. Her future seemed limitless, and she no longer relied on anyone's favor to fulfill her ambitions. The whispers of the dread Lord Uthalesh from within the scythe clouded Setail's judgment. She decided to claim the magical nexus for herself, erecting powerful wars to shield it from prying eyes. Secluding herself, she severed ties with the Legion, patiently awaiting the day when she and Uthalesh would be strong enough to challenge the Dark Titan. When Sargeras uncovered her deceit, rage consumed him. The wellspring of power rightfully belonged to him, yet Setail dared to withhold it. Worse still, reports from his spies on Azeroth suggested she harbored delusions of grandeur, conspiring with the spirit of Uthalesh to end Sargeras himself. Such audacity demanded retribution. The errant Eridar's ambitions needed to be crushed. Sargeras found his instrument of justice in Scavel, the guardian of Tirisfal. Through visions, he revealed a perilous threat lurking in Deadwind Pass, a demon poised to unleash havoc upon the world in the name of the Burning Legion. Fearless, Scavel embraced the challenge, tracking down Setail and engaging her in a titanic struggle that shook the land. In a final decisive confrontation, Scavel triumphed, using Setail's own weapon to end her life. Her anguished soul was then imprisoned within the very scythe she had wielded, forever silenced in defeat. Some 9,000 years following the War of the Ancients, Magna Aegwin, the guardian of Tirisfal, stood as a vigilant protector of Azeroth, relentlessly purging demons from the world. Recognizing her as a significant threat, Sargeras devised a cunning scheme to exploit her strengths. The Dark Titan orchestrated a demonic onslaught on the mighty dragons, knowing Egwene would intervene to aid the imperiled creatures. Seizing the opportunity, Sargeras manifested his own avatar through the formidable power of the Scepter of Sargeras, engaging the Guardian in a fierce battle. Despite Egwene's eventual triumph, Sargeras had orchestrated her victory from the start. Under the guise of defeat, his spirit entered her body and lay in wait for centuries until the time was right for him to make his return to attack Azeroth. After Egwene vanquished Sargeras' avatar, she entombed his body within the ancient ruins of Suramar, along with the potent artifacts he wielded. The Scepter of Sargeras, imbued with incredible power, lay hidden beneath the sea, guarded by ancient highborn enchantments that shielded its formidable might for ages. Despite Sargeras' attempts to manipulate Egwene and reclaim control of the staff, he found her resolve unyielding. While he could influence the Guardian in many ways, he could not compel her to retrieve the scepter from its aquatic resting place. Egwene's hesitation stemmed from an innate understanding of the scepter's perilous nature. She sensed a primal warning, a whisper louder than Sargeras' insidious suggestions. She knew the artifact's potential for catastrophic destruction and would not be swayed, even under the Dark Titan's influence. Years passed, and the Order of Tirisfal approached Egwene, informing her that her tenure as Guardian had concluded and that she should travel to Dalaran to select her successor. Defying their directive, Egwene determined that only her bloodline could wield the responsibility. However, unbeknownst to her, Sargeras' influence seeped into her thoughts, subtly warping her decisions. As Sargeras' whispers grew stronger, Egwene distanced herself from the Council, rarely appearing before them. The Dark Titan magnified her existing suspicions about the Council's plans. She saw their attempts to manipulate Eastern Kingdom's politics as a dangerous path, believing their actions would ultimately lead to catastrophe. Fearing that the Council might appoint a pliable Guardian, Egwene clung to her role, refusing to step down. Egwene's resolve found an ally in Nihilus Aaron of the Tiris Guard, whom she would eventually fall in love with. Sharing her distrust of the Council's intentions, they bore a child, Medivh, with the intention of passing on the Guardian powers. However, unbeknownst to them, Sargeras' corruption began to seep into Medivh, setting the stage for the Dark Titan's grand scheme to reclaim his jeweled scepter. When Medivh turned 14, his latent Guardian powers erupted, plunging him into a coma which lasted for 10 years. However, during this time, his father tragically met his demise. Medivh's awakening powers led him to fevered dreams, where he sought out his father. Tragically, just a mere touch was enough to release a backlash of energies exploded from Medivh, resulting in his father's death. His father's spirit would go on to be trapped within Karazhan, known as the Shade of Aran. Upon awakening, he presented a facade of normalcy, reassuring the clerics and court of his well-being. Little did they know, the Dark Titan had begun to subtly manipulate Medivh's thoughts and emotions, steering him toward a dark purpose. Driven by a newfound determination to thwart the Burning Legion at any cost, Medivh, under Sargeras' influence, stumbled upon Draenor and its formidable horde. Discovering that the orcs had been abandoned by the Legion, Medivh saw an opportunity for ironic retribution. From the confines of his tower in Karazhan, he struck a bargain with the warlock Gul'dan. In exchange for the horde's assistance, Medivh promised to reveal the location of the tomb of Sargeras. With Gul'dan's Shadow Council aiding him, Medivh ventured to the remote Black Morass in Azeroth's southern reaches. There, he tore open the Dark Portal, establishing a permanent gateway between Azeroth and Draenor. This fateful act heralded the dawn of the Age of Chaos, as the orcs poured into Azeroth, setting the stage for a chaotic era of conflict and upheaval. When the Dark Portal crackled to life, its arcane energies rippled across Azeroth, sending shivers through every creature attuned to magic. Among those who felt its ominous pulse was Egwene. Sensing the unmistakable taint of fell magic, she knew that her son had forged a dark alliance with the Legion. Determined to confront Medivh and uncover the truth, Egwene journeyed to Karazhan accompanied by the blue dragon Arcanagos. As she entered the towering spire, bustling with nobles gathered for a gala, Egwene hoped to reason with her son and convince him to renounce his newfound power peacefully. But her hopes were dashed when Medivh revealed a chilling truth. During their final battle, Sargeras had cunningly infused his essence into Egwene's own body, lying dormant until she bore a child. Thus, Medivh was born with the Dark Titan's insidious presence lurking within him, waiting to awaken and seize control of the Guardian's formidable powers, tainted by demonic heritage. Egwene's mind reeled with the revelation, but instead of succumbing to despair, she ignited with a fierce determination. She vowed to confront Sargeras, even if it meant battling her own flesh and blood. The clash that ensued was cataclysmic, shaking Karazhan to its very core and scattering the assembled guests in terror. In a desperate bid to aid Egwene, Arcanagos joined the fray. Despite his formidable powers as a blue dragon, he was no match for the malevolent might of Sargeras. The Dark Titan's wrath consumed Arcanagos, leaving only charred bones in his wake. The loss of her friend fueled Egwene's fury, driving her to fight with even greater ferocity. Though Sargeras wielded the potent energies of a guardian, Egwene's centuries of experience and unwavering resolve proved formidable. As the battle raged on, Medivh's original self began to resurface, torn between his loyalty to his mother and the demonic influence that gripped him. Unable to strike her down, Medivh banished Egwene from his sight, ending the confrontation but leaving a bitter rift between them. It was during this tumultuous period that the mages of Dalaran dispatched a young apprentice, Khadgar, to study under Medivh. Little did they know Khadgar would uncover the dark truth. Medivh was the architect behind the Orcish invasion of Azeroth. As this revelation unfolded, Khadgar, alongside the puzzling assassin Garona, saw an audience with King Lane and the valiant knight Sir Anduin Lothar. Despite being one of Medivh's closest friends, Lothar harbored suspicions about the Guardian's actions. With resolve, he led a band of warriors including Khadgar and Garona to confront the corrupted Guardian. In a desperate struggle, Khadgar, aged prematurely by Medivh's magic, held Lothar's blade to the Guardian's chest, ending the battle by driving it through Medivh's heart. As Medivh fell, the demon within him stirred to life, but before it could fully manifest, Lothar swiftly decapitated the fallen Guardian, severing the tie to the malevolent Sargeras and banishing him to the Nether. Meanwhile, Gul'dan, intent on extracting the location of the tomb of Sargeras from Medivh's mind, found himself trapped in the Guardian's rapidly fading thoughts, his own fate sealed by Khadgar and Lothar's decisive actions. Sargeras burned with a thirst for vengeance against the mortal realm of Azeroth, hoping the Orcish horde would march through the portal he orchestrated, laying waste to the lands and people he despised. Despite the Orcs' subsequent invasion and the havoc they wrought upon the eastern kingdoms, Sargeras' grand scheme unraveled due to Medivh's untimely demise. Deep within the shadows of the tomb of Sargeras, the Orcish warlock Gul'dan embarked on a perilous quest fueled by whispered promises of unimaginable power. Medivh's cryptic hints and Kil'jaeden's seductive whispers had stirred within him a feverish ambition to seize the tomb's legendary might for himself. With trembling hands and a heart ablaze with anticipation, Gul'dan breached the tomb's ancient defenses, only to be greeted not by a looming presence of Sargeras, but by a legion of maddened demons driven to insanity by eons of imprisonment. As the frenzied demons descended upon him, Gul'dan's resolve wavered, but his cunning prevailed. Surviving the initial onslaught, he pressed on, driven by a desperate hunger for the promised power. Yet his triumph was short-lived, for within the tomb's dark depths, a cruel revelation awaited him. Amidst mocking echoes of laughter, an illusion of Sargeras himself taunted Gul'dan, shattering his illusions of grandeur and revealing the extent of his manipulation. In a grim realization of his folly, Gul'dan etched his tale in blood-stained runes upon the ancient walls, a testament to his hubris and ultimate demise. As darkness closed in around him, Gul'dan's fate was sealed. The demons, emissaries of their malevolent master, descended upon him, claiming his life and transforming his skull into a grim symbol of demonic power. In the echoing silence of the tomb, Gul'dan's ambitions crumbled to dust, a cautionary tale of the perils that await those who dare to seek power beyond their grasp. In a turbulent era marked by the return of the Burning Legion, Azeroth faced its darkest hour as the Legion's forces launched their third invasion. The Tomb of Sargeras, a looming bastion of dread, became a focal point of the conflict. Amidst the chaos, Azeroth's defenders rallied, knowing that their only hope lay in the ancient Pillars of Creation. Forged by the Titans themselves, these artifacts held the key to closing the portal within the tomb and halting the Legion's advance. However, Sargeras, ever vigilant, sent his trusted lieutenant Tharzul to thwart their efforts, leading a legion of demons to Karazhan in a bid to silence the seekers of the Pillar's power. Despite Sargeras' unseen presence, his influence echoed through time, reverberating in a haunting flashback to the War of the Ancients. It was in this moment that Illidan's Stormrage, marked by destiny, bore witness to the Dark Titan's immense power. Through burning eyes and shattered visions, Illidan glimpsed the true might of the Legion, a glimpse that would shape his fate and the destiny of Azeroth itself. In the looming shadow of the Legion's relentless advance, their gaze fixates on the summoning of their Dark Master Sargeras to Azeroth. Their quest centers on a singular key to his return, the body of Illidan's Stormrage. Gul'dan, Harbinger of Chaos, schemes to exploit Illidan's vessel, aiming to pave the way for Sargeras' malevolent entry into Azeroth's realm. Yet amidst the chaos, Zira and the Illidari embark on a perilous mission to reclaim Illidan's soul, aiming to thwart Gul'dan's diabolical plans before Sargeras can seize control. United in determination to stop the Legion, class orders and a coalition of elven factions under the leadership of stalwarts like Tyrande Whisperwind, Varisa Windrunner, and Lady Liadrin rally to support the Nightfallen Rebellion. Their objective is to seize back the Nightwell, the Eye of Aman'Thul, and Illidan's body from Gul'dan's clutches before he can infuse it with the essence of Sargeras. Within the formidable walls of the Nighthold, Khadgar undertakes a daring endeavor to restore Illidan's soul to his dormant form. Unbeknownst to him, Sargeras has already seized control, filling Illidan's empty vessel with his dark presence. As Illidan awakens, a fierce battle ensues against the demon within. Through the bravery of intrepid adventurers, Illidan is finally liberated from Sargeras' grip, empowering him to vanquish Gul'dan and thwart the Legion's vile schemes once and for all.
You have seen what I have seen. You know what we face. Now, mortals, follow me into the abyss.
From the vantage point of his Legion ship hovering over Argus, Kil'jaeden beheld a gathering of Khadgar, Velen, and other champions of the Order. In a moment of candid conversation with Sargeras, he lamented the Legion's string of failures, questioning the efficacy of their endeavors under Sargeras' grand design. Sargeras, in return, challenged Kil'jaeden's resolve, probing whether the Eridar had lost sight of his destined path. A defiant Kil'jaeden, his patience wearing thin, asserted that he has sacrificed his world for his destiny, and that the time had come to fulfill it. We move to deep within the sacred hall of communion beneath Sholazar Basin. Azeroth's voice resonated through her chosen speaker, Magni Bronzebeard, with a solemn warning. She conveyed the imminent threat of Sargeras' impending arrival, signaling a moment of profound significance for Azeroth and its defenders. As Magni ventured into the heart of Argus alongside Azeroth's valiant forces, a profound revelation unfolded before him. Through the pulsating essence of Argus's world soul, a vision materialized. Aggramar, once noble and revered, now reborn but enslaved by the malevolent will of Sargeras. In this spectral encounter, Sargeras' voice echoed with sinister intent, urging Aggramar to fulfill their dark designs. With steadfast determination, Aggramar was commanded to thwart the mortal incursion and ensure the unhindered resurgence of the Pantheon. Sargeras addressed Aggramar amidst the harrowing spectacle of the Coven of Shavara's torment upon the souls of Aman'Thul, Norgannon, Khaz'garath, and Golganath. Witnessing their unyielding defiance, Aggramar reassured his Dark Master that their resolve would falter in due time. Sargeras, unwavering in his pursuit of victory, emphasized the indispensable need for the essence of Eonar. With a solemn vow, Agramar pledged that the elusive Ionar would not elude their grasp. Her spirit had traveled to Illunaria, where she remained hidden for millennia, but she was finally discovered by the Burning Legion, and thanks to the help of adventurers, she is able to get away to the seat of the Pantheon, where she later meets with the other Titans. As the raid unfolds, a grim spectacle unfolds across Azeroth, a raging tempest of flames, a sinister manifestation of the Dark Titan's relentless pursuit of his coveted prize. Sargeras issues a command for Argus the Unmaker to ascend from the depths of the seat of the Pantheon. Following the valiant defeat of Argus, Sargeras finds himself ensnared by his own kin, imprisoned within the seat of the Pantheon, marking the climax of the Burning Crusade. However, in a final act of defiance, Sargeras thrusts his mighty sword in the heart of Azeroth, unleashing a catastrophic wound upon the world. This grievous wound, inflicted upon Silithus, causes Azeroth's lifeblood to spill forth, crystallizing into a potent mineral known as Azerite, its shimmering essence pooling across the planet's surface. Now, one Titan that I don't think gets talked about much is Argus, the Titan that we fight at the end of the Burning Throne raid, and I thought it'd be good to cover him. Argus, like other nascent world souls, began as a cosmic energy, swirling through the void before settling near a sun. Around him, a planet took shape, later named Argus, where life flourished and faded across the ages. However, this serene existence was shattered when the fallen Titan Sargeras discovered Argus. Sargeras imprisoned the world's soul within a fell prison at the Burning Throne, a malevolent Titan temple nestled deep within Antarus, the Burning Throne, at the planet's core. The memories of Argus itself speak of betrayal and being bound by an overwhelming force, hinting at a tragic fate befallen upon the celestial being. The Nathrazim, who secretly served the jailer and the Force of Death, proposed a bold plan to Sargeras. They suggested creating a resurrection engine to instantly revive the Legion's armies, addressing Sargeras' impatience with the time it took for demons to regenerate in the Twisting Nether. The key ingredient for this engine? A world soul infused with death magic. Little did Sargeras know, this plan was part of Zoval's larger scheme. By corrupting Argus with death, the Nathrazim ensured that when the Titan fell, its soul would be hurled into the Shadowlands, colliding with the Arbiter. Designed to judge mortal souls, the Arbiter would be overwhelmed by the immense power of a world soul, potentially leading to her breakdown. The agony of reviving fallen demons was a torment that racked the world soul of Argus, leaving him screaming in horror and pain, finding solace only in his dreams. The corrupted Titan Agramar was tasked with guarding the world soul within the sacred temple, deemed too holy for any demons to breach. Despite his suffering, Argus was vaguely aware of the Legion's burning crusade across the cosmos and the relentless pursuit of the far more potent world soul of Azeroth. The existence of Argus's world soul remained a mystery to the Army of the Light until the Second War. Zira, the Naru, experienced a vision of the Emerald Star for the first time during the invasion of Draenor. In her vision, she saw Turalyon and Illyria traversing the cosmos until they reached the Emerald Star. However, the vision was fleeting, and Zira believed that the Legion was concealing it from sight, knowing that once reached, it would be instrumental in defeating them. Zira thought this vision was the reason behind Eradication's mission to assassinate Turalyon and Illyria. Later, after being light-forged by Zira, Turalyon claimed to have seen the Emerald Star himself. He believed their ongoing war with the Legion would eventually lead them to it, emphasizing the need for patience in their struggle. During the tumultuous invasion of Outland, Argus's demonic legions had largely shifted their focus to the Shattered World, leaving Argus vulnerable. Sensing an opportunity, Turalyon and Illyria embarked on a daring mission to infiltrate the Desolate Realm. As they drew closer to Antarus, the world soul within Argus sensed their approach, and in a desperate plea for aid, reached out to Illyria. In a moment of profound connection, the world soul imparted vivid visions of its imprisonment and flooded Illyria's mind with the entirety of its memories. Although Turalyon did not share in this psychic communion, he vowed to return and liberate Argus from the Legion's tyranny. However, the world soul's distress inadvertently alerted the Legion's forces on Outland to their presence, forcing Turalyon and Illyria to make a hasty retreat, their mission compromised but their resolve strengthened. During the intense Argus campaign, the armies of Legionfall made a pivotal discovery: the ability to communicate directly with Argus, much like Magni Bronzebeard's communion with Azeroth, thanks to the Sacred Stone in the possession of the Krokul residing in Krokul Hovel. This revelation unveiled the true nature of the Emerald Star as a titan to the astonished army of the light. In stark contrast to the reassuring voice of Azeroth, Argus spoke in a voice wrought with torment and anguish, a reflection of the relentless agony inflicted upon him by the Legion. Utilizing the stone, Magni and a revered Order leader received harrowing visions from Argus. They learned of Sargeras' vile scheme to resurrect and corrupt the noble souls of the Pantheon, bending them to his malevolent will. Tragically, Agrimar had already succumbed to his corruption, further fueling the urgency of the Army of the Light's mission. In the fiery heart of Antaros, the Burning Throne, a monumental clash unfolded. The valiant Army of the Light and the champions of the Order stood face to face with the formidable avatar of Agrimar, guardian of the imprisoned world soul of Argus. Their mission is to sever Argus's tie to the malevolent grasp of the Burning Legion. As the freed spirits of the Pantheon labored to transport Argus's essence to safety, Sargeras, ever the cunning adversary, issued a command that changed the course of the battle. Argus the Unmaker, now unleashed in his true colossal form, confronted the Order leaders, bolstered by the support of the Pantheon. What followed was a confrontation that seemed insurmountable, a battle on the precipice of hope and despair. In a stunning turn, Sargeras himself intervened, infusing Argus with a fraction of his own formidable power, transforming the Titan to a crimson behemoth. The tide of the battle shifted once more, pushing the champions to their limits as they fought against the overwhelming odds. Yet despite the seemingly impossible challenge, the champions persevered. The Unmaker, driven by an eternity of torment, was finally laid to rest, freeing him from his perpetual suffering. As the dust settled, a somber victory hung in the air, tempered by the sacrifice of the fallen Titan. In a symbolic act, a small portion of Argus's lifeblood was retrieved by the champions, a tangible reminder of their triumph and a grim token to be shown to Khadgar, a testament to the monumental struggle against the forces of darkness. Harnessing the dwindling energies of the Titan Argus, the Pantheon embarked on a daring and final gambit. Together they forged chains of cosmic might, binding the malevolent Sargeras within the sanctum of the seat of the Pantheon. To ensure the fallen Titan's eternal vigil, Illidan Stormrage, a figure of unparalleled resolve and strength, stayed as his eternal jailer. With this decisive act, the Burning Crusade was brought to a stunning halt, marking the end of the Third Invasion and a resounding victory for the forces of Azeroth. Yet even in his captivity, Sargeras' malevolent presence lingered, a reminder of the eternal struggle against the forces of darkness. Now finally we land in the Shadowlands. As foreseen by the Nathrazine's cunning scheme, the corruption of Argus's soul led to a cataclysmic event in the Shadowlands. Upon his death at the seat of the Pantheon, Argus's soul careened into the Arbiter in Oribos, plunging her into an unending slumber. This profound disruption caused a devastating consequence. The flow of all new souls entering the Shadowland bypassed the Arbiter, cascading directly into the dark, ferocious depths of the Maw. This unforeseen turn of events played directly into the long-term plans of the Jailer, setting in motion a sinister chain of events that would reshape the fate of the afterlife. When a Mawwalker and their companions attempted to craft a new Arbiter in Zereth Mortis, utilizing an empty vessel within the crypts of the Eternal, a cunning Nathrazim infiltrator executed a nefarious ploy. The Saboteur disrupted the ritual and conjured forth an echo of Argus, intending for the Titan's essence to inhabit the vessel and become eternal. Despite the formidable challenge posed by Argus, the Mawwalker and their allies emerged victorious. However, the Nathrazim's interference temporarily halted the creation of a new Arbiter, until Pelagos bravely offered his own soul to fulfill the crucial role. There was one thing I kind of wanted to talk about real quick. When Sargeras broke open the demon prison that he had created on Mardoon and transformed into what we see in the game now, I was curious at first as to why it transformed him so much, since Fel is a weakness to the Titans. I figured it would do more damage than anything else, like it would more kill him. But my guess for that was because, since he made the prison, it's a mix of Arcane and Fel, and he was able to kind of survive it but still get messed up physically. He was already mentally pretty gone with just wanting to end all life to protect, I don't know if it's really to protect life from the void, but he, as I had said earlier, he wanted to, he felt that it was better to have a lifeless world than to have one corrupted by the void. So he was very dead set on that. But that was my big curiosity as to why the explosion of Fel from the world he destroyed to break out the demons to start his crusade didn't actually kill him. Because I figured it would do more damage, but I was thinking that due to the planet being a mix of arcane and Fel, since he created it, would be my guess as to why. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just he's just one badass. I don't know. In the ancient past of Azeroth's history, the Titan Forged, also dubbed the Seed Races or the Titan Spawn, stand out as the formidable creations of the Pantheon. Forged from the very crust of the world, these armies were meticulously crafted to combat the sinister Black Empire of the Old Gods. In the beginning, guided by the Master Forger Khaz'goroth, the Pantheon sculpted a formidable army from the very essence of Azeroth's crust. The army consisted of the Aesir and the Vanir, colossal in stature and purpose. The Pantheon crafted the first generation into two distinct groups. The Aesir, fashioned from metal, wielded the fury of storms, and the Vanir, carved from stone, commanded the earth itself. These revered beings, later collectively known as the Watchers, served as stalwart guardians of Azeroth. As the war against the Old Gods raged on, the Keepers, entrusted with the task of safeguarding Azeroth, sought to replenish the ranks of the Titan Forged lost in battle. To achieve this, they delved into the mysteries of creation, fashioning new Titan Forges through the twin forges known as the Forge of Wills and the Forge of Origination. These forges not only replenished their numbers, but also imbued them with the strength and resolve needed to face the ever-looming threat of the Black Empire. Among the Watchers, a select few were imbued by the Pantheon's members with their own essence and powers, elevating them to leadership roles among the Titan Forged. These empowered guardians came to be known as the Nine Keepers, each bearing unique traits of their creators. Arquidus, empowered by Khaz'goroth, Freya, empowered by Eonar, Hodor and Thorm, empowered by Golganeth, Loken and Mimiron, empowered by Norgannon, Odin and Ra, empowered by Aman'Thul, and Tyr, empowered by Agramar. With their army ready, the Titan Forged marched forth to wage war against the ancient evils that threatened Azeroth. This army, born from the very fabric of the world, was destined for greatness and glory on the battlefield. After crashing into Azeroth from the depths of the Great Dark Beyond, or just basically space, that's just what they call space in the WoW universe, the Old Gods plunged their twisted tentacles into the world's vulnerable surface, aiming for its budding world soul at its core. Their corruptive touch birthed two malevolent races from the oozing organic matter, the cunning Unraki and the resilient Akir. The Unraki, known as the Faceless Ones, took charge, using the insectoid Akir as their workforce to construct vast citadels and temples around the colossal forms of their malevolent masters, the Old Gods. The grandest of these structures rose around Yashara, the most potent and malevolent of the Old Gods. This emerging civilization thrived near the heart of Azeroth's largest continent, spreading its tendrils of influence across the globe, eventually solidifying into the infamous Black Empire. This shadowy realm was characterized by immense sacrifices and eerie structures pulsing with void energy, casting a dark shadow over the world. The emergence of the Black Empire sparked concern among the Elemental Lords, the original inhabitants of Azeroth. The Elemental Lords were Neptulon, the Tidehunter, Therazane, the Stone Mother, Ragnaros, the Fire Lord, and Alakir, the Wind Lord. Recognizing the Old Gods as a dire threat to their sovereignty, the Elemental Lords took unprecedented action, banding together against this common foe. It marked a pivotal moment in Azeroth's history as the world spirits united in a bid to repel the encroaching darkness. Despite their united front, the Elemental Lords found themselves overwhelmed by the relentless hordes of Unraki and Akir. The Old Gods' forces proved too formidable, eventually leading to the subjugation of the Elemental Lords. With the native spirits subdued, the Black Empire expanded its dominion, casting a perpetual twilight over Azeroth. The world plunged into an era of unending darkness, marked by despair and suffering. A perpetual conflict raged as their twisted armies clashed in unending warfare. Led by the formidable Cathraxi warlord Zanaz, The forces of N'Zoth relentlessly battle against those of Cthulhu and Yogg-Saron. Amidst this chaos, N'Zoth suffered a significant defeat against Yashara in what would later become the Broken Shore. However, true to his nature, even defeat proved advantageous for N'Zoth in the grand scheme of its malevolent plans. During the apex of the Black Empire's reign, the all-devouring Dementius entrusted the ancient staff of Voidsong to Xal'atath, the mysterious harbinger of the Void. Now, there really isn't anything more to Dementius giving Xal'atath the staff, so I'm not sure if they intend to expand on it in the future, or just wanted to connect it with her considering War Within is coming out in the future, and with her being a key figure it seems, they wanted to put something in the trading post that can be read as being hers, but wanted to throw it in there since it is noted on the wiki. But in my looking around, I couldn't find any future connection with her having that, or really any connection other than she received it from Dementius. Guided by the indomitable Keepers, the Titan Forge launched a relentless assault on the northern reaches of the Black Empire. Their arrival was like a thunderous clap, shattering the tranquility of the Old God's domain. With the might of the Pantheon's armies behind them, they became an unstoppable force, raining down divine fury upon their enemies. The Old Gods, caught off guard by the sudden and ferocious onslaught, scrambled to respond. They could not allow their grip on Azeroth to loosen. To counter the Titan Forge, the Old Gods summoned their most potent allies, the Elemental Lords. The Elemental Lords descended upon the Titan Forge in a violent onslaught. Faced with this multifaceted threat, the Keepers devised a cunning strategy. They divided their forces, each group tasked with confronting a specific Elemental Lord. Tyr and Odin, renowned for their valor and prowess, volunteered to face Ragnaros the Fire Lord, the most destructive of the Elemental Lieutenants. The battle that ensued was cataclysmic, raging for weeks and scorching the land with flames and molten rock. Despite the Fire Lord's relentless assault, the Keeper's unyielding metal forms proved impervious to his fiery wrath. With unwavering determination, Tyr and Odin pressed on, gradually forcing Ragnaros to retreat back to his volcanic lair in the east. In a landscape scarred by boiling acid seas and skies choked with ash, the two Keepers emerged victorious, their triumph a testament to their resilience and unwavering resolve. As the Titanforge battled on multiple fronts, Archytas and Freya focused their might on Therazane the Stone Mother, the elemental ruler of Earth. Seeking refuge within her formidable stone spire, Therazane hoped to shield herself and her minions from the onslaught. However, Archytas, wielding his mastery over the earth, he weakened the very foundation of the citadel and shattered the rocky giants that guarded the area. Freya, in turn, summoned immense roots from the earth, interweaving the fortress in a vice-like grip. These colossal tendrils, with a will of their own, burrowed through rock and crystal, wrenching the citadel apart until its walls collapsed upon Therazane, sealing her fate. Meanwhile, Ra, Thorm, and Hoder engaged in a fierce aerial battle against Alakir the Windlord. With their command over the skies and tempests, they drove Alakir back to his mountainous lair, unleashing lightning and storms upon him. Despite his formidable powers, Alakir found himself overwhelmed by the combined might of the three Keepers. In a final desperate gambit, the Elemental Lord sought to wield the very forces of nature against his assailants. Yet in a stunning display of skill and resilience, Ra, Thorm, and Hoder turned Alakir's own powers against him, ultimately defeating him atop his wind-swept domain. As Neptulon the Tidehunter surged forth to aid his besieged brethren, Loken and Imran cunningly intervened, disrupting his advance at every turn. Loken, with his mastery of the arcane, froze and shattered the water elementals with precision, while Mimiron devised enchanted restraints to ensnare Neptulon himself, thwarting his efforts to join the fray. Despite the Elemental Lord's defeat, the Keepers understood that their essence was intertwined with Azeroth. Destroying them would only see them reborn in time. Ra, however, devised a solution reminiscent of Sargeras' tactics with demons: imprisonment. Joining forces with the formidable sorceress Helia, Ra orchestrated the creation of interlinked domains within a secluded pocket dimension, the Elemental Plane. This intricate plan culminated in the banishment of the Elemental Lords and the majority of their minions to this mystic prison realm, ensuring that they would remain contained and unable to wreak havoc upon Azeroth once more. After the defeat of the Elemental Lords, the Keepers took decisive action to ensure Azeroth's safety. Ragnaros and his fiery minions were banished to the scorching confines of the Firelands within the Elemental Plane. Therazane and her Earth Elementals found themselves imprisoned within the crystalline depths of Deepholm. Alakir and the Air Elementals were confined to the lofty heights of the Skywall. while Neptulon and the water elementals were drawn to the unfathomable deeps of the abyssal maw. With their leaders sealed away, only a handful of elementals remained on Azeroth's surface, their will to fight extinguished. Turning their attention to the remaining threats, the Keepers focused on the Akiri legions of the Black Empire. These insectoids dwelled in the vast catacombs beneath the world's surface, posing a lingering danger. Archytas, using his command over earth and stone, collapsed the Akiri tunnels, forcing the creatures to the surface where they were met by the Titanforged. The ensuing battle was fierce and unforgiving. The Titanforged, determined to eradicate the Akiri threat, waged a relentless campaign. Though some Akiri managed to escape by burrowing deep underground, they were too weak to mount a significant counterattack. In time, the Akiri race was largely obliterated, leaving only scattered remnants unable to pose a serious threat again. The triumphs over the Akiran elemental lords bolstered the Keeper's spirits, but they were well aware that their greatest challenges still lay ahead. With unwavering resolve, they set their sights in the heart of the Black Empire, the colossal temple city housing the malevolent old god Yashara. The Keepers believed that by dismantling the bastion of the Enraki, they could deliver a decisive blow to their enemies. As they advanced, the Keepers and their allies encountered relentless waves of Enraki, each engagement leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The landscape became a haunting testament to the fierce struggle, littered with the shattered bodies of Titanforged and Enraki alike. Yet undeterred, they pressed on, determined to confront Yashara himself. The confrontation with Yashara proved to be more daunting than anticipated. The malevolent old god wielded a power that corrupted the minds of the Titanforged, exploiting their deepest fears and darkest thoughts. Fearing that Yashara would overwhelm their forces, the Pantheon made a momentous decision. Despite the potential consequences for Azeroth itself, they resolved to intervene directly. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, the need to eliminate this grave threat once and for all. Aman'Thul reached down from the heavens and ripped Yashara from the planet's crust. By doing this, he inadvertently wounded Azeroth due to Yashara reaching its tendrils deep within Azeroth's crust. From that point, out of fear of harming Azeroth more, they knew they had to imprison the rest of the old gods and hope that their evil will stay there forever. Before the Titans left the planet, they bestowed the Pillars of Creation onto the Keepers to aid them in shaping Azeroth. After the Titans departed, the Keepers undertook a series of monumental tasks to stabilize the slumbering world soul of Azeroth. They stemmed its bleeding, which gave rise to the mystical Well of Eternity, a wellspring of unimaginable power. Establishing Ulduar as their bastion, the Keepers worked tirelessly to forge a new order. They constructed the Forge of Origination, a marvel of engineering that could reshape the very essence of Azeroth, and the Forge of Wills, which crafted new Titanforged races such as the Earthen and Mogu, each imbued with unique abilities and purposes. Through their ingenuity and dedication, the Keepers left an indelible mark on Azeroth's landscape, shaping its destiny in profound and enduring ways. Bound by chains forged of celestial might, the old gods were ensnared in a prison of their own making, their malevolence contained but never truly extinguished. Meanwhile, the elemental forces, bereft of their malevolent masters, were cast into the abyss, condemned to eternal strife and turmoil. Yet from the Forge of Unrest emerged a newfound tranquility. With the departure of the elementals, the world breathed a sigh of relief, nature reclaiming its rightful balance. And as the Titans surveyed their handiwork, they knew that the threat had been contained, and that a new era of peace and prosperity could dawn upon the world. Thus, with steadfast determination, they set to work, shaping the world into a realm of boundless wonder and possibility. In a daring gambit to counter the insidious threat posed by the old gods, the mighty Pantheon embarked on a bold experiment within the halls of Uldir. Delving deep into the mysteries of corruption, they sought to unravel the mysterious forces driving the relentless hunger of the ancient entities. Yet in their pursuit of a solution, the Titans unwittingly unleashed a force more formidable than they could have ever imagined. From the trials of their experiments emerged G'huun, a perfect embodiment of the insatiable appetite for corruption that plagued the world. Born from years of tireless experimentation and boundless curiosity, G'huun defied all attempts at containment, its essence pulsating with a malevolent vitality that threatened to consume all in its path. Faced with an adversary beyond their comprehension, the Titans were forced to take drastic action. In a desperate bid to stem the tides of darkness, G'huun was sealed within the depths of Uldir, its malevolent influence confined within the ancient halls. Yet even as the doors were sealed shut, the echoes of its presence reverberated throughout the ages, a grim reminder of the perils that lurked within the shadows. In the quest to shape the world, the Titans called forth diverse races to aid them in their monumental task. From the depths of the earth to the expanse of the seas, each race was bestowed with unique gifts and responsibilities. Crafted from magical living stone, the stalwart earthen were tasked with delving deep into the earth, carving out vast caverns and tunnels beneath the surface. Their sturdy forms and unyielding resolve made them the perfect guardians of the Titan subterranean realms. Guardians of the lush vale of eternal blossoms, the stone Mogu stood as sentinels against any who would threaten the tranquility of this sacred land. With their towering stature and unwavering loyalty, they ensured that the vale remained untouched by the ravages of time. Beneath the waves, the sea giants toiled tirelessly, dredging the seas and raising land from the seafloor to form the continents. Despite their immense size, their gentle nature belied their formidable strength, as they labored to shape the world according to the Titan's vision. Through countless ages, the Titans sculpted and molded the earth until at last a single continent emerged, a testament to their tireless efforts. At its heart lay the Well of Eternity, a shimmering pool of radiant energy that would serve as the lifeblood of the world. As life began to flourish upon the primordial land, the Titans beheld their creation with pride and reverence, and as the sun set on the final day of their labors, they christened the continent Kalimdor, the land of eternal starlight, a testament to the boundless potential that lay within its embrace. Establishing Ulduar as their bastion, the Keepers worked tirelessly to forge a new order. They constructed the Forge of Origination, a marvel of engineering that could reshape the very essence of Azeroth, and the Forge of Wills, which crafted more Titan-forged races such as the Earthen and Mogu, each imbued with unique abilities and purposes. Through their ingenuity and dedication, the Keepers left an indelible mark on Azeroth's landscape, shaping its destiny in profound and enduring ways. Now I wanted to go over how the Aspects got their abilities, and what made the decision for the Titans to bless the Aspects with their powers from the beginning in the story, Dawn of the Aspects. But I won't cover everything from the novel. With Tyr being highly involved, it seemed like a good time to talk about it here, so let's dive into it. Once revered among his kin, Galakron's transformation from benevolent hunter to fearsome terror sent ripples of dread through the lands of ancient Azeroth. The proto-dragons, once his companions, now cowered in fear at the mere mention of his name. The source of Galakron's corruption lay hidden amidst the shores of Uldurus, where the sacred waters of the Dragon Isles mingled with the malevolent energies of Yogg-Saron. It was here that the Titan-forged relic, corrupted by ancient malice, granted Galakron the power to grow and mutate at an alarming rate, unleashing chaos and destruction in his wake. As the tendrils of corruption tightened their grip upon the land, the fate of Azeroth hung in the balance, its future uncertain in the face of an ancient evil reborn. In the heart of a bustling hunting ground, Galakron's sudden appearance cast a shadow of fear over the gathered masses. The once bountiful land, teeming with life, now stood as a grim testament to the terror that lurked within its depths. As whispers of confusion and apprehension spread among the proto-dragons, Malygos, with his keen intellect, questioned the inexplicable change in Galakron's behavior. In response, his new friend Neltharion offered a simple explanation. More food lay within reach, ripe for the taking. Yet Malygos, ever the voice of reason, voiced his concerns, reminding his comrades that the bounties of the land were theirs by right. The notion of cannibalism, once unthinkable amongst their kind, now reared its grotesque head as Galakron's insatiable hunger led him to prey upon his own kin. But the horror did not end there. With each victim claimed by Galakron's ravenous maw, a sinister transformation took hold, twisting the fallen proto-dragons into grotesque abominations known as the Not Living. Enslaved to their master's will, they rose from the depths of death to serve as his unholy minions, harbingers of doom amidst the once serene landscape. Under the malevolent gaze of Galakron, the nightmarish reign of the Not Living spread like a shadow across the land, their twisted forms haunting the once peaceful skies. At their master's command, they stalked their living kin. Their tainted fangs spread a dark contagion with each savage bite. Amidst the chaos, a young proto-dragon named Koros found himself drawn to the allure of power, believing that Galakron, in his twisted wisdom, would spare those who pledged their loyalty to him. In a clandestine pact forged in shadows, Koros betrayed his brethren, offering up their secrets to the insatiable hunger of their monstrous tyrant. With treacherous whispers, Koros fed Galakron the time and place of the impending assault, a strategic gambit to curry favor with the beast and secure his own survival. Yet as Galakron soared into the skies, his thoughts consumed by the promise of a bountiful feast, Koros and his band believed themselves spared from his wrath. Their hopes shattered like fragile glass, Galakron's deceit knew no bounds. In a swift and merciless display of dominance, he descended upon them like a wrathful god, devouring them whole as they fled in terror, their screams lost amidst the thunderous war of their conqueror. In a desperate bid to outmaneuver Galakron's treachery, Talanixia, the chosen alpha among the living proto-dragons, devised a cunning strategy, altering their plans to strike at a different time and place. Yet even amidst their calculated precautions, the insidious influence of the not-living proved to be their downfall. With eerie precision, Galakron orchestrated a deadly trap, luring the unsuspecting proto-dragon into his clutches, bursting forth from the earth with primal fury. He decimated their ranks with a savage ferocity, leaving devastation in his wake. Despite Talanixia's efforts, the tide of battle turned against them, their forces shattered by Galakron's unstoppable onslaught. In the chaos that ensued, the dragon aspects Malygos, Nozdormu, and Neltharion rallied to their aid, thwarting Galakron's insatiable hunger with their formidable powers. As the battle raged on, Malygos, guided by a sense of urgency, sought out the elusive Ysera and Alexstrasza. Yet it was the intervention of the mysterious keeper Tyr that proved to be the turning point, his mighty hammer stunning the beast into submission. In a dramatic clash of titans, Galakron, driven to the brink of defeat, was forced to retreat, his plans thwarted by the unyielding courage of Azeroth's defenders. And though the battle may have been won, the echoes of their struggle would linger on, a reminder of the enduring resilience of those who dare to defy the darkness. In the hushed whispers of ancient mountains, Tyr convened with the 5 valiant proto-dragons, their resolve unwavering as they plotted the downfall of Galakron. With a strategic eye and a heart brimming with courage, Tyr revealed the opportune moment to strike, the perfect juncture to confront their monstrous adversary. As the shadows of twilight danced upon the rugged landscape, Tyr and his companions fortified themselves, replenishing their strength for the impending battle. With renewed vigor coursing through their veins, they converged upon Galakron's lair, their hearts aflame with righteous fury. Amidst the towering crags of Galakron's resting place, Tyr and the intrepid proto-dragons assembled, their spirits ablaze with determination as they prepared to face the monstrous titan once more. With a defiant roar, they launched themselves into the fray, their resolve unyielding despite the odds stacked against them. As Galakron loomed larger and more grotesque than ever before, the battlefield erupted into chaos, the air crackling with the searing energy of conflict. Amidst the swirling maelstrom of battle, the spark of Tyr shimmered with an ethereal brilliance, its radiant glow a beacon of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. Yet even as Tyr unleashed his mighty hammer upon the monstrous titan, Galakron's mutated form proved impervious to his blows. With a sinister grin, the behemoth unleashed a ferocious gale, scattering his foes like leaves in the wind. In a moment of peril, Ysera, the ever-watchful guardian, appeared on the battlefield, her presence a ray of hope amidst the chaos. Yet as Galakron moved to devour her, Tyr's hammer rang out like a resounding echo of defiance, silencing the beast's laughter with a single mighty blow. With unwavering resolve, Tyr grappled with the monstrous titan, his blows raining down upon him with unrelenting fury. As Galakron thrashed beneath his assault, a profound transformation began to take hold, the corrupted influence receding to reveal the resemblance of a true dragon emerging from the depths of darkness. With a triumphant roar, Galakron claimed his prize, the gleaming artifacts and Tyr's hand vanishing within the carnivorous maw of the beast. Oblivious to the plight of his fallen foe, Galakron reveled in his newfound power, his form contorted by further mutation as the battle raged on. Unbeknownst to the triumphant monster, his adversaries slipped away into the night, their spirits unbroken despite the loss suffered on the battlefield. Amidst the chaotic clash of titans, the legendary artifacts of Tyr, the hammer of ancient power and the radiant spark of Tyr were torn from his grasp. With steady hands and unwavering focus, Malygos examined the gruesome wound, his heart heavy with the weight of their impending doom. Yet even as Galakron roared in triumph, his form swelling with newfound power, Malygos refused to yield to despair. Amidst the frigid embrace of a frozen lake, an unconscious Tyr lay silent upon the icy shore, his fate shrouded in mystery. As the proto-dragons grappled with the uncertainty of his disappearance, whispers of fear and suspicion filled the air. In the depths of their despair, a glimmer of hope emerged from the shadows in the form of 2 mysterious keepers. their presence a beacon of reassurance amidst the darkness. With solemn reverence, they revealed that they had taken Tyr home to recover. Their motives veiled in secrecy, yet their intentions clear: to safeguard Azeroth from the encroaching darkness. With Tyr out of commission for now, the burden of confronting Galakrond fell on the shoulders of the proto-dragons, their resolve unyielding despite the daunting odds stacked against them. In a desperate bid for survival, they engaged the monstrous titan and his horde of not-living minions in a cataclysmic clash that would echo throughout the books of history. In a moment of brilliance, Malygos seized upon an opportunity to turn the tide of battle in their favor. With a mighty heave, he hurled a massive boulder down Galakrond's throat, disrupting the monster's focus and sending shockwaves of confusion rippling through his ranks. As chaos engulfed the battlefield, Malygos' icy breast prevented the boulder from dislodging, trapping it firmly within Galakrond's throat. Yet the final blow came from an unexpected source as Neltharion, with a thunderous blast, sent a not-living hurling towards the obstruction, driving it deeper into the beast's gullet. With a mighty roar of defiance, Galakrond choked and sputtered, his monstrous form convulsing as life left from his twisted frame. In his final moments, the tyrant met his end, his reign of terror brought to a decisive and triumphant conclusion by the courage and determination of those who dared to defy him. In a bid to safeguard the fragile peace of Azeroth, the dragon aspects decided to conceal the grim truth of Galakrond's demise, weaving a web of deception to shield further generations from the horrors of his legacy. Embracing the whispered rumors that had people believing that the Titans had created the aspects from Galakrond, they sought to obscure the dark chapter of history that had threatened to cast a shadow over the realm. With Galakrond's monstrous reign finally brought to an end, the remnants of his existence became relics of both dread and fascination. Among these artifacts, a fragment of his formidable claw and the very boulder that sealed his fate found their resting place within the hollowed halls of Nal Sakal, nestled deep within the ancient confines of Zarlet Cavern. Guarded by the watchful eyes of the Black Dragonflight, these relics served as a solemn reminder of the price paid in the battle against tyranny. And though the echoes of Galakrond's reign may fade into the books of history, the memory of his malevolent legacy would endure as a cautionary tale for generations to come. In the wake of their victory over Galakrond, each proto-dragon was bestowed with divine gifts, entrusted with the sacred duty of safeguarding the realm of Azeroth and guiding its destiny. Alexstrasza and Ysera, blessed by the benevolent hand of Eonar, ascended to positions of unparalleled authority. Alexstrasza the Lifebinder was charged with the solemn duty of protecting every living being that roamed the world, while Ysera the Dreamer was tasked with nurturing and preserving the untamed beauty of nature from her ethereal realm, the Emerald Dream. Nozdormu, granted the wisdom of Aman'Thul himself, assumed the mantle of Timekeeper, entrusted with the sacred task of safeguarding the intricate tapestry of time itself, ensuring that the threads of fate remained unbroken. Malygos, chosen by the mystifying Norgannon, was anointed as the Arcanist, the guardian of magic and the arcane mysteries that lay hidden within the fabric of reality. And lastly, Neltharion, blessed by the mighty Khaz'goroth, emerged as the Earth Warden, bestowed with dominion over the very Earth itself and the deep recesses that lay beneath its surface. Together, these newly anointed leaders stood as pillars of strength and guardians of the realm, their destinies intertwined with the fate of Azeroth itself. And as they took up their sacred duties, they vowed to protect their world with unwavering resolve, forging a legacy that would endure for eternity. In a display of unwavering loyalty and craftsmanship, Tyr's steadfast friend Jotun fashioned a replacement for his severed hand, an intricate closed fist forged from shimmering silver. A testament to their bond, Jotun also emblazed Tyr's new silver hand symbol onto his mighty hammer, a gesture of solidarity and resilience. Curious about Tyr's decision to showcase his wound, Jotun questioned the wisdom of drawing attention to his injury. Yet, Tyr's response was one of unwavering conviction. To him, his argent hand was not a symbol of defeat, but rather a testament to the sacrifices made in defense of Azeroth. With pride in his heart, he sought to share this message with the world, transforming his hammer into the legendary Silver Hand, a beacon of hope and resilience for all who beheld it. In the wake of the Dragon Aspect's ascension, Tyr embarked on a noble endeavor crafting the Refti, a Titan-forged race destined to serve in harmony alongside the dragons. To accommodate his new allies, he constructed the grand facility known as Olderus, a sanctuary that would come to be affectionately dubbed Tyrhold by the dragons. Though initially embarrassed by the moniker, Tyr's enduring legacy would leave an indelible mark upon the world, his creation serving as a testament to his unwavering dedication to the cause of peace and unity. And though his journey may have been fraught with challenges and setbacks, Tyr's spirit would live on through the generations, a guiding light in the darkest times. Now I want to talk about the keepers themselves in more detail, but only a few of them really have a deep background, while others just have a few paragraphs. So the ones with more detail I'll talk about first, and then the ones with less I'll talk about at the end in more of a group talk. The ones with more backstory are Loken, Freya, Odin, and Ra. Tyr is kinda in that list, but after covering Dawn of the Aspects, his is kinda in the middle. But first, let's talk about Freya. In the ancient tapestry of Azeroth's creation, Freya brought forth the Emerald Dream during the cosmic orchestration known as the Ordering of Azeroth. The whispers of lore echo conflicting tales. Some weave the narrative of Freya conjuring the dream from the void, while others contend that this ethereal realm was a slumbering daydream within Azeroth's world soul. A dream that Freya skillfully shaped into the mysterious canvas now celebrated as the Dream. A conduit to commune with the blossoming Titan's essence. Amidst the verdant embrace of the Emerald Dream, Freya planted the majestic Ganir, the Mother Tree, atop a lofty peak. This colossal tree bore fruits and flowers, unleashing a cascade of life that rippled through the dream's landscapes. While Freya crafted numerous pools of life across this ethereal realm, Ganir stood as the premier genesis, towering in splendor and radiance. For eons, Ganir served as a wellspring of healing and equilibrium. Its influence stretched beyond the dream into the tangible realm, a guiding force for Azeroth's natural essence. Freya's wanderlust led her across the world, in pursuit of locations where the energies of the Will of Eternity came together. In these mystical areas, she meticulously shaped a tapestry of life so diverse and astounding that it became a testament to her mastery. These sacred sites, now veiled in the mysteries of time, grace the polar extremes of the world. Ungoro Crater, Sholazar Basin, and the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, once bearing names whispered by Freya's lips, became landscapes of unparalleled beauty and diversity, resonating with the echoes of her primordial artistry. Embarking on her quest to infuse the world with vitality, Freya planted a seed of creation in the emerging land of Pandaria, nestled close to the potent energies of the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. This seed gave rise to Fuzan, the first tree guardian, whose roots delved deep into the resonant power of the Vale. As Fuzan flourished, a verdant symphony unfolded, birthing towering trees that stood as guardians of the dream and manifested their vibrant counterparts in the waking world of Pandaria. Every lush forest that graced this mystical realm traced its lineage back to Fuzan, the pioneering tree that wove the essence of life throughout the heart of Pandaria. From Freya's hidden sanctuaries, a select few untamed creatures transcended ordinary bounds, surpassing all expectations with their extraordinary might. These magnificent beings earned the title of the Wild Gods. In Freya's eyes, they were her progeny, intricately woven into the fabric of the Emerald Dream. Together, they roamed the primeval landscapes of Kalimdor, a familial bond uniting them as they embarked on their celestial journey. Mount Hyjal, bathed in the ancient echoes of their presence, bore witness to the shared odyssey of Freya and her formidable wild gods. Prior to embarking on her journey to breathe life into the border realms of Azeroth, Freya fashioned a wandering staff from a branch of Fuzan, christening it Fuzan, the Wanderer's Companion. This enchanted walking stick became a timeless artifact, accompanying her throughout the vast expanse of creation. In the heart of Sholazar Basin, Freya wove the Avatar of Freya into existence, an ethereal failsafe to stand sentinel over the region in her stead, a guardian born from necessity, poised to watch over the land should the threads of Freya's presence ever falter. During her odyssey across Azeroth seeking extraordinary creatures, Freya stumbled upon a scene of nature's struggle, a panther cub valiantly fending off a wolf pack after losing her mother. Undeterred by her wounds, the resilient cub fought with primal ferocity, driving the wolves away. Enchanted by this untamed spirit, Freya cradled the panther, her joy undiminished by the scratches that followed. She mended the cub's wounds and christened her Ashamane, a tribute to the striking black fur that embodied the wild essence within. In the enchanting realm of Grizzly Hills, Freya encountered a pair of youthful and inquisitive bears, Ursoc and Ursul. Perceiving the latent greatness within them, Freya glimpsed the destinies they would weave. Bestowing upon Ursoc the mighty claws of Ursoc, intricately forged from the very essence of Titan steel, she marked him as the guardian of these formidable talons. Throughout the tapestry of countless battles, Ursoc wielded these sacred claws until his valiant demise amid the tumultuous events of the War of the Ancients. In addition to the wild gods she had already discovered, she found 4 more who exemplified an unwavering commitment to peace and wisdom: Yulon, Nuzhou, Zhuan, and Qiji, revered for their celestial grace, eventually earned the title of the August Celestials among Pandaria's native inhabitants. Freya, with her foresight, knew that these divine beings would be instrumental in safeguarding the region. In a touching encounter, Freya shared her apprehension with the Celestials about an encroaching darkness from the north, sensing an imminent confrontation. Entrusting her cherished staff Fuzan to their care, Freya uttered a solemn request. "If I do not see you again, return this staff to Azeroth, to one of its children. Give it to someone who loathes battle and loves peace." Yulon the Jade Serpent pledged to safeguard the staff. Regrettably, Freya's return never materialized, as she fell victim to defeat at the hands of Loken and succumbed to enslavement by Yogg-Saron, leaving the staff and her unfulfilled wish in the embrace of Pandaria's mysterious Celestials. Now we move on to the one who caused so much trouble for us on Azeroth and the other Keepers, Loken. A Keeper forged by the Pantheon to lead the Titan-forged armies against the Old Gods, received his power from Norgannon. In a fierce battle alongside Mimiron, they triumphed over Neptulon the Tidehunter. However, Loken's life took a tragic turn when an affair with Sif, his brother Thorm's wife, led to a disastrous accident. Manipulated by the imprisoned Yogg-Saron, Loken, driven by fear of losing Sif, inadvertently caused her death. Overwhelmed with guilt but afraid to confess to Thorm, Loken deceived his brother, blaming Arngrim, the king of frost giants, for the tragedy. To end the ensuing war, Loken created an army using the Forge of Wills, unknowingly spreading the curse of flesh that would transform Titan-forged into flesh. Desperate to conceal his actions, Loken orchestrated Mimiron's death, subdued Hodor and Freya with Yogg-Saron's corruption, and convinced Helya to imprison Odin in the Halls of Valor. Learning of the Pantheon's demise, he exiled all Titan-forged from Ulduar and withdrew into its depths. The only witnesses to Loken's betrayal were Tyr and Archytas, who alongside Ironea and allies stole the discs of Norgannon to uncover the extent of his treachery. In pursuit, Loken sent monstrous Cathraxi, but Tyr sacrificed himself, allowing his comrades to escape with the discs. Terrified of the consequences if Tyr's group exposed his actions to Algalon, Loken fabricated the Tribunal of Ages, filling it with false information to cover his tracks, manipulating the signal to Algalon. He ensured no living being could contact him until Loken's death. The complex web of deception and tragedy unfolded within the shadows of Ulduar's depths. For countless millennia, Yogg-Saron languished in captivity, holding the Keepers, including Loken, in a muted state within Ulduar. His control over them was feeble, and attempts to persuade them into directly aiding the Old God had met with resistance. The turning point came when Cho'Gall, a member of the Old God-worshipping Twilight Hammers clan, infiltrated Ulduar, weakening Yogg-Saron's chains. Suddenly, the entity's influence of the Keepers intensified, transforming as sturdy as iron. Under Yogg-Saron's command, Loken was tasked with using the Forge of Wills to fashion a new army. In Loken's skilled hands, the Forge unleashed hordes of iron dwarves in Vrykul, hungry only for bloodshed and war. During the war against the Lich King, Thorm, aided by adventurers aligned with the Sons of Hodor, unraveled the truth and reclaimed his weapon and armor. Fueled by righteous fury, he confronted his treacherous brother in a bid for justice. However, it proved to be an intricate deception orchestrated by Loken. The ruse successfully lured Thorm from the safety of the Temple of Storms, where proximity to his Dark Master granted Loken the power to withstand Thorm's assault. Subsequently, Loken captured Thorm and his loyal proto-drake Varanus, intending to plunge them into madness through the influence of Yogg-Saron. Loken's schemes extended to enlisting Ignis the Furnace Master for transformative tasks. One notable instance involving morphing Varanus into the formidable plated monstrosity known as Razor Scale. Additionally, Loken commissioned the creation of Kolagarn, a colossal stone construct to guard the shattered walkway leading to Ulduar's inner halls. Upon Loken's demise in the Halls of Lightning, he ominously proclaimed that his death heralded the world's end. The map of Azeroth erupted in flames, launching a beacon of light skyward. As revealed by the Archivum Console in Ulduar, Loken's death triggered the Algalon failsafe, an emergency signal leading to the arrival of Algalon the Observer. This signaled potential planetary failure, initiating a diagnostic process with two possible outcomes. Reply code Alpha indicated all was well, while reply code Omega signified planetary re-origination. When questioned about the latter, the console explained the Titan's plan: the complete destruction of Azeroth and its lifeforms, followed by the meticulous reconstruction of the planet from its base elements. In essence, the dire warning in Loken's dying breath hinted at the catastrophic consequence of his demise, a potential reset of Azeroth through the Titan's re-origination process. Odin, renowned for his leadership and valor, he commanded the Titan-forged armies in their relentless crusade against the malevolent forces of the Old Gods. Infused with the potent powers of Aman'Thul, Odin stood as a beacon of strength and resilience. In a pivotal moment, Odin alongside his stalwart ally Tyr faced the fiery fury of Ragnaros the Fire Lord, prevailing over the Elemental Lord in a battle that resonated throughout the scrolls of history. For his unwavering leadership, indomitable spirit, and unwavering commitment to Azeroth's safety, Odin was bestowed with the prestigious title of Prime Designate, entrusted with the crucial task of overseeing Yogg-Saron's imprisonment and safeguarding the Forge of Wills, a cornerstone of Titan-forged creation. In a gesture of recognition and trust, Odin gifted his loyal companion Heimdall with a Yaller horn, a mystical horn whose vibrant call signals the impending doom of Azeroth, compelling the Keepers to heed its summons and unite in defense of the world they swore to protect. When the Keepers deliberated on empowering the dragon aspects for their bravery against Galakrond, Odin stood apart, vehemently opposing the idea. In his unwavering conviction, he argued that only the Titan-forged could be trusted as defenders of Azeroth, casting doubt on the reliability of the proto-dragons. Determined to forge his own elite army, one characterized by unwavering loyalty and valor, Odin set his sights on the Vrykul as the ideal candidates to fulfill his vision. Despite Odin's objections, the Pantheon chose to empower the dragon aspects, a decision that drove Odin to take drastic action. He severed ties with his prestigious position as Prime Designate, and using his formidable powers, lifted a portion of Ulduar into the skies, thus birthing the majestic Halls of Valor. This act symbolized his unwavering commitment to his cause, even at the cost of his former status. In a daring and fateful move, Odin made a pact with Muzalah, an ally of the malevolent jailer Zoval, sacrificing his own eye in exchange for the ability to peer into the mysterious realm of the Shadowlands. It was during this visionary exploration that Odin beheld the Kyrian, a noble order of ascended beings, whose presence and purpose inspired him to conceive a realm akin to their bastion for himself. Driven by his unyielding belief in the superiority of the Titan-forged, he devised a grand scheme to bolster his forces in the Halls of Valor. He promised the Vrykul that those who met a valiant end in battle would be granted a place in his halls, bestowed with immortal bodies infused with the fierce power of the storm. In his eyes, these warriors, dubbed Valajar, would surpass the dragon aspects in defending Azeroth. To fulfill his promise, Odin required willing Vrykul to undergo a transformation into Valkyr, tasked with retrieving the spirits of fallen heroes from the Shadowlands. Inspired by the noble Kyrian, whom he'd glimpsed in his visions, Odin believed this was the key to bolstering his ranks with the bravest souls. However, the Vrykul hesitated, wary of the implications of such a transformation. Odin's adopted daughter Helya, a Titan-forged, pleaded with him to reconsider, foreseeing the potential dangers. Ignoring her warnings, Odin forcefully transformed Helya into the first Valkyr, commanding her to carry out this crucial task. In a twisted turn of events, Odin later deceived his followers, claiming that Helya's transformation was a result of her own hubris. He fabricated a tale of her reaching out for power from the Shadowlands during their disagreement, leading to her transformation into a wraith-like being. Supposedly, she then begged for his forgiveness and requested to be made a Valkyr as a form of redemption. This deceitful narrative further solidified Odin's control over his followers, masking the true circumstances of Helya's tragic transformation. For millennia, Helya harbored a deep-seated grudge against Odin, simmering with resentment. Her animosity festered until the fateful day when Loken, a keeper twisted by the insidious whispers of Yogg-Saron, cunningly manipulated her into betraying her father figure. Empowered by dark magic, Helya wielded a force that rivaled the ancient spells used to seal the elemental plane. With this newfound strength, she imprisoned Odin and his Valajar warriors within the majestic Halls of Valor, effectively cutting them off from the world they had sworn to protect. Seizing the opportunity to assert her newfound authority, Helya established Helheim, a grim realm where she claimed the souls of fallen Vrykul. This marked a stark departure from Odin's promise of eternal glory in the Halls of Valor, instead consigning the departed to a fate of eternal servitude in her domain. Aegir ascended to the role of leader of the Valkyr, replacing Helya. Meanwhile, Loken seized the title of Prime Designate from Odin, completing a chain of events that reshaped the hierarchy of Azeroth's protectors. Amidst the chaos of the Third Burning Legion invasion, Odin, still ensnared within the Halls of Valor, orchestrated a daring rescue. Through the agency of one of his Valkyr, he plucked a valiant warrior from the jaws of death. Recognizing the hero's unique status, unbound by the confines of the Hall, Odin anointed them as the leader of the Valajar, entrusting them with the crucial task of combating the Legion's onslaught. As the Legion's shadow loomed even larger, Odin devised a series of trials to assess the worthiness of Azeroth's champions. Disguised as Havi in the rugged expanse of Stormheim, he observed the champions, testing their mettle, strength, and determination. Only those deemed worthy of Odin's exacting standards were granted access to the Gates of Valor, a testament to their valor and resolve. Furthermore, Odin orchestrated a formidable duel within the hollowed halls of the Halls of Valor. Here, the champions faced off against the mightiest of foes to prove their prowess and determination. Only those who emerged victorious were deemed worthy of wielding the legendary Aegis of Agrimar, a symbol of their strength and valor in the face of overwhelming odds. Through these trials, Odin sought champions who embodied the virtues of courage, strength, and indomitable will, forging a formidable force to stand against the relentless tide of the Burning Legion. When Helia's treachery became apparent, twisting Odin's loyal Storm-forged Valajar into the malevolent Kvaldir, the Keeper reached his breaking point. Determined to put an end to her machinations, Odin resolved to confront her once and for all, refusing to be a pawn in her deadly game. Assuming the guise of Havi, Odin joined forces with esteemed champions such as Khadgar and Velen, gathering at Krasus' landing to deliberate on the crucial matter of the Pillars of Creation. His presence among the Order Hall of Champions underscored his commitment to the cause of Azeroth's defense, despite the shadows of betrayal that loomed over him. Additionally, Odin extended a rare invitation to the Huntmaster of the Unseen Path, granting them access to the Night of the Wilds. This mystical event heralded the awakening of legendary beast spirits, an awe-inspiring spectacle in the field of the Eternal Hunt. In a show of his unwavering dedication to finding the mightiest warriors, Odin annually conducted a rigorous trial for his Valajar. Known as the Battle Lord, this warrior was subjected to a series of grueling tests, designed to determine the land's strongest combatant. These trials not only showcased Odin's relentless pursuit of excellence, but also emphasized the valor and strength he sought in his champions. In the wake of the Legion's devastating incursion, Stormheim became a focal point for heroes of unparalleled valor. Odin, recognizing the potential of these champions to turn the tide against his ancient foe, Helia, devised the ultimate challenge, the Trial of Valor. This crucible was not just a test of strength, but a pivotal moment that could finally break Helia's grip on Helheim and secure Odin's long-awaited freedom. With the fall of Helia, the chains that bound Odin to the Halls of Valor were shattered. Free at last, he contemplated the passage of time, acknowledging that it had been eons since he had last beheld the grandeur of Ulduar. Perhaps, he mused, it was time to reunite with his kin, the Watchers, and reflect on the battles won and lost over the ages. Among the spoils of Helia's defeat was her horn, a powerful artifact capable of commanding the cursed legions of Kvaldir. Recognizing this strategic value, Odin entrusted the Battle Lord with a crucial mission, to wield the horn and lead the Kvaldir against the Legion's forces on the Broken Shore. This bold maneuver would not only strike a blow against the Legion, but also demonstrate the newfound freedom and autonomy of the Valajar under Odin's leadership. During the war against the Jailer, Odin's Valkyr mysteriously vanished one by one, even those sent to search for their missing sisters failed to return. A daring adventurer navigating the treacherous maw stumbled upon Danica the Reclaimer, a Valkyr held captive by the Jailer's forces. Upon her liberation, Danica unveiled a harrowing truth to Odin. Helia, thought vanquished, still lived, corrupting his Valkyr into Maw-sworn, with the eye of the Jailer, once Odin's own eye. Enraged by this betrayal, Odin decreed that such an affront could not be left unanswered. Charging the heroes with a monumental task, he ordered the creation of the Ilska Horn, an artifact designed to lure the eye of the Jailer into combat. Additionally, the heroes were tasked with recruiting a group of valiant Valkyr, led by Danica, to join the fray against this insidious threat. Through sheer determination and unwavering courage, the heroes and their Valkyr allies confronted and vanquished the Eye of the Jailer, forcing it to retreat to its master's stronghold in Torghast. This triumph ignited a spark of hope in the hearts of Odin and his allies, bolstering their resolve to press forward in their battle against Soval the Jailer, confident the victory was in their grasp. In his hubris, Odin dismissed the plights of the dragons as inconsequential, commanding the Thawagnir to ignore the summons of the Dragon Isles. Enraged by his ignorance, Viranoth, a prominent member of the Thawagnir, rallied champions including Rathion to confront Odin and challenge his callous decree. The confrontation quickly escalated as Odin, stung by accusations of cowardice, lashed out in a furious onslaught.
Enough of this foolishness!
I agree. Dragons of the storm, you are true dragons, not constructs beholden to an unworthy keeper. You are free to choose your own path. If you wish it, there is a home for you on the Dragon Isles. Join your kin and claim your birthright.
So before we dive into talking about Ra, I wanted to explain some of my confusion when I was looking more into this. The Wiki and Chronicles seem to have different info. On the Wiki, it is said that the Pantheon did the ordering of Azeroth and didn't depart Azeroth until the aspects were chosen. But from what I've read in Chronicles, it is the Titan Forge who ordered Azeroth after the Pantheon left, following Yashara being ripped from the planet's crust. In Chronicles, it is said that the Keepers bestowed the blessing of the Pantheon onto the aspects. Chronicles even has the Pantheon's departure section before the Galakron section. Also, it is mentioned with the ordering of Azeroth that the Titan Forge made the various beings needed to help order Azeroth. But the Wiki says the Pantheon did, which wouldn't make sense since the Titans made the Titan Forged since they could not set foot on Azeroth due to fear of harming her, since they're gigantic. They're literally planet-sized beings. Now, one more thing is that the Wiki mentions that the Pantheon did research for G'huun and trapped him within Old Year. But I don't know how they did the research there since, as I mentioned before, they can't be on the surface due to their size. Unless they used avatars similar to what Sargeras used on his adventures, or it was a Titan Forged who did the research and then locked G'huun away. But the Wiki says the Pantheon did. So I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to go with the Titan Forge did everything with the ordering and such, especially after the 2 forges, which allowed them to craft more beings to help them with such a task. Now, this isn't the first time that I've had this sort of confusion between what I've known from Chronicles to what I've actually found on the Wiki. I'm not sure if just whoever wrote the Wiki just mistyped, or if there's some sort of conflicting stuff within the game. Because even within the game, there's actually a book you can find at various locations in the game that says the Pantheon did a lot of this stuff. So I'm not exactly sure, but from what I've read in Chronicles, the Titan Forge did the ordering thanks to the Pillars of Creation, plus the Titan Forge that they were able to craft like the Earthen and the Mogu. So that's the basics of my confusion while doing the research for this video. But I wanted to add in both sides of it and explain what I had found so people know. Hopefully it isn't too confusing, because my brain hurts. Alrighty, now that I've hopefully explained that in a somewhat cohesive way, let's dive into Ra's history. Among the ranks of the Titan Forged, Ra stood as a formidable creation, crafted by the Titans themselves to combat the insidious threat of the old gods plaguing Azeroth. Highkeeper Ra, akin to Odin, was one such empowered being, bestowed with his might by Aman'Thul, the High Father of the Pantheon. Aman'Thul also entrusted Ra with a powerful artifact known as the Fist of Ra-Den. This artifact not only breathed life into the Titan-forged Mogu race, but also served as a formidable weapon in the relentless battle against the Black Empire of the Old Gods, a conflict that spanned countless ages. Following the defeat and imprisonment of the Old Gods beneath Azeroth's surface, the Titan Forge embarked on a crucial mission to foster the growth of Azeroth's world soul. Central to this endeavor were 2 mighty machines, the Forge of Wills and the Forge of Origination. Ra was entrusted with installing the Forge of Origination. He then embarked on a journey to the southern reaches of Azeroth. However, his path led him to a startling discovery: the remains of the vanquished old god Yashara, including its immense and malevolent heart. Recognizing the danger these remnants posed, Ra made a fateful decision to contain them. He established a secure underground vault to house these remains, naming it the Vault of Yasha-Ra. To safeguard this vault and the surrounding lands, Ra assigned his loyal Mogu servants to stand as its guardians, ensuring that the remnants of Yasha-Ra remained sealed and dormant for eternity. After a challenging journey, Ra and his followers finally reached their destination. They installed the Forge of Origination, a monumental task that marked the birth of the great fortress of Uldum. This fortress became the southern bastion of the Titanforged, a testament to their strength and determination. Assigning some of his Tol'vir and Anubis-Seth servants to protect this newly established area, Ra continued his quest further west. There he created the formidable fortress of Ahn'Qiraj, intended to serve as a prison for the malevolent old god Cthulhu. With this monumental task completed, Ra turned his attention to overseeing the southern regions of Azeroth, a duty he would faithfully fulfill for ages to come. On a stormy day, Ra and his Mogu companions ascended a towering mountain to bid farewell to the celestial creators. The legends speak of Ra's awe-inspiring display as he struck his weapon against a shield, commanding the storm to cease and the clouds to part. Underneath their feet, the mountain itself seemed to rise higher, while lightning and fire danced across the sky, illuminating the departing titans. The winds themselves seemed to join in a sorrowful yet majestic farewell. The Mogu who directly answered to Ra became known as the Rajani, a group of loyal and powerful beings dedicated to maintaining order and protecting the lands under Ra's watchful gaze. Sometime after his monumental tasks, Ra witnessed a pivotal moment in Azeroth's history, the empowering of the primitive proto-dragons and the creation of the 5 dragonflights. Drawing upon the potent energies of his creator, Aman'Thul, the High Keeper bestowed upon the bronze dragon Nozdormu the powers to control time itself, a gift that would shape the course of history. As the Keepers diligently tended to their duties on Azeroth, a sudden and overwhelming surge of power washed over them, accompanied by a flood of fragmented memories. Perplexed by this strange occurrence, the Keepers reached out to the Pantheon for answers, seeking to understand the source and purpose of this mysterious influx. However, their inquiries were met with silence, leaving them to ponder this strange event in solitude. After an extended period of contemplation, Ra came to a startling realization. This surge of power was the final echo of the Pantheon's spirits, lingering after their demise at the hands of the traitorous Sargeras. Determined to preserve this last vestige of his creators, Ra carefully extracted the lingering power of Aman'Thul and safeguarded it in a hidden mountain vault near the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. Overwhelmed by grief and the weight of this revelation, Ra made a solemn decision. He retreated into the depths of the catacombs beneath the land, relinquishing his role as the protector of the planet. With a heavy heart, he left his Titan-forged servants to carry on their work without him, as he sought solace and understanding in solitude. For ages, the loyal Mogu served their master, Ra-Den, faithfully. Ra-Den means Master Ra in the Mogu tongue, even as his voice fell strangely silent. However, their steadfast allegiance was tested when the curse of flesh struck, transforming their once stony beings into flesh and blood. As the Mogu grappled with their newfound forms, internal strife began to plague their ranks, yet Ra-Den remained silent, offering no guidance. In the tumultuous era known as the Age of 100 Kings, a charismatic Mogu warlord named Lei Shen emerged, declaring his intention to awaken the gods. Lei Shen rallied his most loyal followers and ventured into the heart of the Thundering Mountain, where Ra-Den dwelt in seclusion. Deep within the mountain's caverns, Lei Shen made a profound discovery, the towering figure of Ra-Den, guarding a powerful Titan artifact known as the Engine of Nalak Shah. This encounter would set in motion a series of events that would forever change the fate of the Mogu and Azeroth itself. The arrival of Lei Shen, the Thunder King, brought no visible reaction from the silent High Keeper Ra-Den, even as the Mogu bombarded him with questions about their purpose. Days turned into weeks, and Lei Shen's frustration mounted as Ra remained unresponsive. It became apparent to the Mogu that Ra's silence was not a sign of contemplation, but rather a reflection of his despondence, his hope lost. In a fit of rage, Lei Shen accused Ra for forsaking the Titan's mission, hurling accusations of abandonment. These words jolted Ra from his desolate state, prompting him to reveal to the Mogu the repository where he had safeguarded the last remains of Aman'Thul's essence. The revelation that the Titans were no more did not crush Lei Shen's spirit as it had Ra's. Instead, the ambitious warlord resolved to take matters into his own hands, seeing an opportunity to seize power and continue the work of the Titans himself. Without warning, Lei Shen subdued Ra, binding the Highkeeper in chains and stealing both his power and the essence of Aman'Thul, though he was unable to harness Ra's 2 artifacts. With his newfound might, Lei Shen declared himself the Thunder King, and imposed his tyrannical rule over Pandaria until his eventual demise. Meanwhile, Ra-Den was imprisoned in a hidden cell beneath the Throne of Thunder, forced to witness the consequence of his silence and the rise of a new era of tyranny. After eons of imprisonment beneath the Throne of Thunder, Ra-Den was discovered by daring adventurers. Millennia of confinement and torment had shattered his spirit, leading him to a grim realization. Azeroth had become irreversibly tainted, its corruption beyond redemption. In his despair, Ra-Den concluded the only solution was annihilation. However, the adventurers intervened, offering Ra-Den a glimmer of hope for the world's future. Though he harbored doubts about mortals' ability to thwart the encroaching darkness, he acknowledged their tenacity and resolve. They had, in his eyes, earned the right to stand against the looming threat. With a final flash of lightning, Ra-Den disappeared, his whereabouts unknown for years to come. After emerging from the confines of the Throne of Thunder, Ra-Den sought solace in the silent sanctuary nestled within the Veil of Eternal Blossoms. Accompanied by his loyal Mogu servants, the Rajani, the Highkeeper remained secluded, contemplating the world's fate. As the awakening of the old god N'Zoth sent tremors through Azeroth, adventurers and speaker Magni sought Ra-Den's aid. They hoped to wield the power of the Engine of Nalak Shah, housed within the Forge of Origination, as a weapon against the encroaching darkness. However, Ra-Den grimly asserted that the looming threat surpassed even the might of Azeroth's champions. He recalled the ancient conflict against the Black Empire, where all the Keepers had united to emerge victorious. In an effort to sway Ra-Den, Stormkeeper Quion of the Rajani dispatched adventurers to secure a trophy from one of the Veil's besieged generals. This act was intended to demonstrate the urgency of the situation. Ra-Den, though acknowledging the valor displayed, remained cynical, noting the sheer number of Azeroth's foes and the inevitable tipping of the world's balance against it. Yet recognizing his past errors, he conceded that mortals had surprised him before. Deciding to offer the champions a chance to defy his expectations once more, Ra-Den revealed that the Engine of Nalak Shah lay within the Mogushan vaults. This revelation opened the path for the champions to reactivate the ancient structure, a beacon of hope amidst encroaching darkness. With newfound hope ignited within him, Ra-Den entrusted the defense of the Engine of Nalak Shah to the Rajani, and joined the adventurers on a journey to the Chamber of Heart. There, he aided in their quest to restore the Forge of Origination, a crucial step in preparing Azeroth for the looming threat of N'Zoth. As the adventurers ventured into the twisted realms of N'Zoth's horrific visions, they returned to find the Chamber of Heart under siege. N'Zoth's forces had launched a direct assault, seeking to corrupt the facility and its powerful artifacts. Ra-Den valiantly fought alongside the defenders, but as the tide turned in N'Zoth's favor, he turned to the adventurers, urging them to protect Azeroth at any cost. With a steadfast determination, Ra-Den unleashed a devastating lightning attack, aimed at sealing the portal to Ny'alotha. His sacrifice was swift and selfless as he hurled himself into the portal, ensuring its destruction even as he was pulled into the realm of the old god. Magni later reflected that without Ra-Den's sacrifice, N'Zoth would have seized control of the Chamber of Heart and potentially all of Azeroth. Ra-Den's sacrifice stood as a testament to his unwavering dedication to safeguarding the world. Immersed in the nightmarish depths of Ny'alotha, Ra-Den's lingering despair consumed the flicker of hope that had sustained him. The insidious whispers of N'Zoth twisted his noble spirit, transforming him into a malevolent servant of the old god. As his corruption deepened, Ra-Den's once virtuous essence became unrecognizable. His eventual confrontation and defeat atop the Terrace of Desolation by Azeroth's champions marked a tragic end to his noble legacy, leaving Magni and others mourning the loss of a once great defender of the world. Now I want to talk about Tyr. His beginning was like the rest of the Keepers. After having been empowered by the Titan Agrimar, he and Odin fought and defeated Ragnaros. Then following those events, we jump to when he helped the Aspects fight Galakrond and be victorious, which led them to be endowed with the powers from the Titans through the Keepers. Now we move on to the next leg of Tyr's adventure. Tyr's involved in the story The War of the Scaleborn, which is the story of events before Dragonflight and going more in depth of the fight that the Aspects had with the Incarnates, which were led by Eridikron. Tyr approaches the Aspects about taking primal dragon eggs from the wilds and infusing them with order magic, which I'm fairly certain is just arcane magic, which is a way to ensure the dragonflights thrive and weaken the primalists. But I had to read the story to get the full idea of what's happening, so that's the very brief rundown because that's basically all the wiki said. But now I want to go into more detail about Loken's rebellion from Tyr's perspective. In the shadowy grip of corruption, when darkness threatened to consume even the noblest hearts, Tyr stood steadfast against the tide. As his brethren succumbed to the insidious whispers of corruption, only he and Archytas remained untainted by Loken's treachery. Long before the tendrils of corruption ensnared Loken, Tyr had sensed the looming darkness, a foreboding presence that lingered on the edge of perception. Thus, when the tempest of betrayal finally broke, he was prepared, his resolve unshaken by the chaos that ensued. With Loken's legions closing in, Tyr, Archytas, and their friend Ironea retreated to the remote reaches of Storm Peaks. There, amidst the rugged terrain and howling winds, they plotted their defiance against the encroaching darkness. As Loken scoured the land in search of his elusive prey, the trio lay in wait, hidden from prying eyes. Their absence fueled rumors of their flight, leading Loken to believe that they had fled beyond his grasp. But unbeknownst to their would-be captor, Tyr and his allies bided their time, their spirits unbroken and their determination unwavering in the face of adversity. Amidst the chaos of the Winterscorn War, as the clash between Vrykul and Earthen ignited from the frozen wastes, Tyr and his stalwart companions found themselves thrust into the heart of the conflict. Besieged by the relentless onslaught of the Winterscorn, the Earthen turned to Tyr for aid, their pleas echoing across the desolate landscape. With unwavering resolve, Tyr and his comrades emerged from the shadows, ready to lead the charge against the encroaching darkness. As battle raged on, Tyr and Archytas forged a beacon of hope amidst the chaos, Truthguard, a shield imbued with the power to unveil Loken's deceit and rally allies to their cause. Entrusting the artifact to the valiant Vrykul champion, Yargrim the Truthseeker, they kindled a spark of defiance that ignited a revolution within the ranks of their foes. Yet as the tide of war shifted and the Winterscorn returned with newfound allies astride mighty proto-dragons, Tyr knew that victory would require more than mere steel and stone. Calling upon the dragon aspects for aid, they unleashed a tempest of divine fury upon their adversaries, casting down the Vrykul and sending the Winterscorn into a deep slumber. And thus, with the echoes of battle fading into the icy winds, Tyr and his companions stood as beacons of hope in the darkness. With the threat of Loken's plots looming ever larger, Tyr knew that decisive action was needed to thwart the malevolent plans of the treacherous Keeper. Determined to uncover the full extent of Loken's betrayal, Tyr and his allies set their sights on a daring mission, to procure the Discs of Norgannon, which is a set of enchanted artifacts that transcribe the history of Azeroth as it unfolded, which would show the full story of Loken's betrayal to the three. Before embarking on their perilous quest, Tyr made careful preparations enlisting the aid of the honored dragon aspects. Presenting them with a scale forged of pure silver, he entrusted them with a gift of great significance, a weapon against the shadows that threatened to engulf Azeroth. As the time for action drew near, Tyr bid farewell to his cherished companions, knowing that the path ahead was fraught with peril. Though their hearts yearned to accompany him to the unknown, Tyr insisted that his quest was one that only he and his fellow keepers could undertake. And so, with determination burning bright in their hearts, Tyr, Ironea, and Archytas set forth into the unknown, their resolve unyielding, their spirits unbroken, ready to confront the darkness that lurked at the heart of their world. Amidst the towering spires of Ulduar, Tyr enacted a daring gambit to distract Loken, while his companions embarked on a perilous mission to steal the coveted Disc of Norgannon. As Tyr engaged Loken in a battle of wits at the entrance of Ulduar, Archytas and Ironea slipped into the heart of the Titan stronghold, their movements shrouded in shadows as they sought to liberate the disc from the captor's grasp. With the precious artifacts secured, the trio made a daring escape to the treacherous Storm Peaks, their path fraught with danger at every turn. Far from the prying eyes of their pursuers, they sought sanctuary in a distant refuge, where they could unravel the mysteries contained within the discs and forge a plan to confront the looming threat. Empowered by their resolve and bolstered by a divisive band of allies, including Vrykul, Earthen, and Mechanomes, Tyr and his companions prepared to embark on a journey into the unknown. But even as they set forth, Jotun remained behind, a solitary guardian against the tide of darkness, determined to buy them precious time in their quest for salvation. And if you'd like to know more about Jotun, I do talk about him in my Storm Peaks video. As news of the theft reached Loken's ears, a chill of dread gripped his heart, for he knew that the stolen discs held secret that could seal his fate. Fearing the wrath of the Pantheon should they uncover the truth, he unleashed his monstrous minions, the fearsome Cathraxi, upon Tyr and his valiant companions. For weeks, the relentless pursuit drove Tyr and his allies to the ends of the earth, until they found respite in a tranquil glade, far removed from the chaos of their fight. With unwavering resolve, Tyr made the ultimate sacrifice, standing firm against the onslaught of the Cathraxi, his courage undimmed even in the face of certain death. For 6 long days and nights, the clash of titans echoed through the glade, as Tyr fought with every ounce of strength within him. Yet as the shadows of defeat loomed large, he made a final selfless gesture, unleashing a blinding explosion of energy that consumed both himself and his foe. In the aftermath of the battle, the wounded Cathix fled into the shadows, vanishing into the depths of the wilderness, while Tyr's companions mourned the loss of their noble friend. But though his physical form may have perished, Tyr's sacrifice would forever be remembered as a beacon of hope in the darkness. In a solemn tribute to their fallen comrade, Ironea christened the serene glade as Tyr's Fall, a poignant reminder of the heroism and sacrifice witnessed within its tranquil borders. The Vrykul tongue breathed life into the name, shaping it into the evocative Tyr's Fall. With reverence and awe, they erected a grand tomb upon the hallowed ground, laying Tyr and his adversary to rest side by side. Atop the sacred mound, Tyr's argent hand gleamed in the sunlight, a symbol of his unwavering valor and selflessness. Within the solemn confines of the tomb, they enshrined Tyr's legendary weapon, the Silver Hand, preserving his legacy for eternity. Inspired by his noble sacrifice, the Vrykul pledged to stand as eternal guardians of his final resting place, their unwavering vigil a testament to the depth of their reverence. Meanwhile, Archytas and Ironea and their steadfast companions embarked on a new journey, venturing southward to forge their own destiny. Their path led them to the ancient halls of Uldaman, where they would carve out a new home amidst the echoes of history, their spirits forever intertwined with the legacy of their fallen friend. In a poignant act of foresight, Tyr had woven the essence of his being into a sacred disc, entrusting its guardianship to Archytas and Ironea. This repository of memories, known as the Disc of Tyr, held the wisdom and guidance that would illuminate the path forward in his absence. Bound by an unbreakable oath, Archytas and Ironea safeguarded the precious artifact, awaiting the moment when destiny would beckon them forth. For within the hollowed depths of the discs lay the keys to unlocking the mysteries of Azeroth's fate, a legacy of wisdom to be passed on to those deemed worthy. As the sands of time unfurled and the world stood on the precipice of uncertainty, the Discs of Tyr stood as a beacon of hope, their secrets awaiting revelation by the chosen guardians of destiny. And when the time finally arrived, the dragon aspects would be entrusted with the solemn duty of heeding Tyr's counsel, guiding the course of history with the wisdom of ages past. And when the time finally arrived, the dragon aspects would be entrusted with the solemn duty of heeding Tyr's counsel, guiding the course of history with the wisdom of ages past. Across generation, the Vrykul wove tales of valor and sacrifice, ensuring that the legend of Tyr and his Silver Hand endured as a cherished legacy among their human descendants. From the ashes of ancient lore rose Tyr's Guard, an order sworn to protect the sanctity of his tomb, their solemn vigil spanning millennia. Yet as the ages unfurled their tapestry of mysteries, the fate of Tyr's Hand remained veiled in uncertainty. Yet the echo of its presence lingered, casting an indelible mark upon the annals of human history. The resonance of Tyr's sacrifice echoed far beyond the confines of Tirisfal, permeating the very essence of human society. In homage to his memory, the city of Tyr's Hand rose, a bastion of resilience and fortitude against the tides of darkness. And from the embers of legend emerged the Knights of the Silver Hand, champions of righteousness and champions of self-sacrifice, their valorous deeds echoing the legacy of their revered originator. Now within Legion there is mentions of Tyr, but Tyr isn't directly involved. The only things that involve Tyr are various artifact quests that we get sent on. I think it's the Priest, Warrior, and Paladin get sent on different quests involving Tyr or his tomb. So I didn't really think it was worth going over entirely. However, in the future I would like to go over pretty much the entire quest line for each class in Legion, because it is a substantial quest line, and I think it's pretty interesting to go over since I've personally never really done the full quest line on any character. So I think it'd be kind of fun to do in the future, but it didn't really seem to fit right now going into the full detail. But I do go into a little bit of the detail of the Paladin quest when I go over the Storm Peaks video talking about Jotun. So if you'd like to see that, check it out. But otherwise, let's hop over to Dragonflight, where Tyr is directly involved and a lot of stuff happens. In the depths of Uldaman, a hidden chamber known as the Legacy of Tyr has been unearthed, revealing secrets long forgotten by time. Within its ancient halls lies a relic of immense significance, the Discs of Tyr. Forged in ages past, these mysterious discs hold within them the memories and wisdom of the valiant Watcher. Entrusted to the faithful guardians Ironea and Arcadis, alongside the revered discs of Norganon, they are said to contain a crucial message destined for the dragon aspects. However, before the Seekers of Knowledge can lay their hands upon the treasured artifact, a disruptive force emerges from the depths of time itself. The infinite dragon Chronoloord Dios, wielding the power of temporal manipulation, intervenes, whisking away the discs to a distant era beyond reach. Thus the pursuit of Tyr's legacy takes an unexpected turn, as the tendrils of time intertwine with the quest for truth. In a land veiled by mystery and ancient power, a remarkable artifact stirs from its slumber. The Silver Scale, a dragon scale crafted of pure silver, resonates with a newfound vitality, its shimmering surface aglow with arcane energies. Sensing the significance of this awakening, the Dragon Queen Alexstrasza calls upon a valiant adventurer to journey to Tyrhold, a bastion steeped in the echoes of a bygone era. Accompanied by the vigilant watcher Kuranos, they embark on a quest to unravel the enigma that surrounds the pulsating scale. As they delve into the depths of Tyrhold, the adventurers uncover fragments of a forgotten past, piecing together cryptic messages left by the legendary Watcher Tyr. These ancient messages speak of treachery in flight, shedding light on the machinations of the corrupted Loken and the desperate escape of Tyr, Arcadis, and Ironea from the clutches of Ulduar's darkness. With each revelation, the scale's resonance grows, resonating with the echoes of history. And as the final fragment falls into place, the dragon aspects themselves descend upon Tyrhold, drawn by the beckoning call of destiny. In a breathtaking display of temporal insight, Nosdormu unveils a vision, a glimpse into the monumentous exchange when Tyr bestowed the scale upon the dragons, a gesture of friendship and unity that reverberates through the ages. As Alexstrasza reflects on the dragons' triumphs and the legacy of their revered guardian Tyr, an unexpected revelation unfolds. A Titan orb, dormant for ages, springs to life in response to her words, projecting a spectral visage of Tyr himself. In a solemn message from beyond the veil of mortality, Tyr imparts urgent counsel to the dragon aspects. He speaks of a looming peril, a moment of dire need foreseen from the realms beyond the living. With unwavering resolve, he directs them to his ancient forge, the crucible of his power and essence. As a silver scale is respectfully placed upon the forge's console, a surge of arcane energy courses through the chamber. It intertwines with legendary Titan steel ingots, relics of Agrimar's divine craftsmanship, safeguarded within the halls of infusion by the vigilant watcher Iridius. A new form begins to take shape, an empty vessel forged from echoes of Tyr's essence, awaiting the spark of consciousness. Yet the task remains incomplete, the path forward veiled in uncertainty. Guided by the whispers of time itself, Nosdormu discerns a latent potential within the Silver Scale, an untapped reservoir of memories, unbound by the constraints of mortal existence. Thus a daring expedition is undertaken, led by intrepid adventurers and the steadfast watcher Kuranos. In the dim recesses of the tomb, echoes of Tyr's final moments are unearthed, a poignant testament to his sacrifice and valor. With solemn reverence, these memories are enshrined within the vessel, a fleeting flicker of life breathed into its form. Yet as the echoes of Tyr's essence stir within the vessel, a fleeting glimmer of hope emerges, a beacon of possibility in the darkness. The journey is far from over, and the legacy of Tyr, guardian of Azeroth, lives on, awaiting his moment to shine once more. In the aftermath of the cataclysmic events known as the Dawn of the Infinite, a coalition of unlikely allies embarked on a daring quest to recover the lost discs of Tyr. Led by Chromie and the enigmatic Eternius, they ventured across time and space, placing arcane beacons at pivotal moments in history. With the aid of Chromie's temporal magic, they pinpointed the whereabouts of one of the elusive discs, held captive within the formidable Nighthold, under the watchful gaze of the arcane sorceress Elisanda. After a harrowing confrontation with Farak and his minions, the intrepid band accompanied by a valiant adventurer breached the Nighthold's defenses. In a realm untouched by the passage of time, they engaged Elisanda in a battle of wills, persuading her to relinquish Tyr's long-lost disc. With the disc secured and the silver scale in their possession, the stage was set for a momentous reunion. As the ancient rituals were performed, Tyr's essence was summoned forth, drawn from the abyss of oblivion to greet the world once more. In a momentous reunion, the long-lost artifacts, the disc of Tyr and the silver scale converged, signaling the revival of Tyr. As he emerged from the shadows of the past, he was met by Alexstrasza and Nosdormu, witnesses to his resurrection. Amidst the joyous reunions, Tyr's companions delivered somber tidings of the passage of time, revealing the fate of his former comrades, Malygos, Ysera, and Neltharion. Neltharion succumbed to corruption inflicted by the Old Gods, leading adventurers to confront and ultimately defeat him. Subsequently, Ysera fell victim to the insidious influence of the Emerald Nightmare. Upon her demise, Elune intervened at the request of Tyrande, purifying Ysera's spirit. Meanwhile, Malygos became consumed by his idea that the mortal spellcasters may end up bringing the Burning Legion to Azeroth as the Highborn once did. His descent into madness solidified his conviction that mortals were incapable of responsibly wielding magic. In a desperate bid to assert control, he tapped into the ley lines coursing through Northrend, redirecting their power to his domain within the Nexus. However, the consequences were dire, as the unleashed magical energies proved volatile and dangerous. These events culminated in what would be known as the Nexus War. Recognizing the danger Malygos posed, Alexstrasza made the difficult decision to end his reign. With the aid of adventurers and support from the Red Dragonflight, Malygos was ultimately defeated, bringing an end to his life. Even as the torchbearers of old faded into memory, new aspects had risen to take their place, ushering in a new era of guardianship. Seeking clarity amidst the shifting tides of destiny, Tyr inquired about the purpose behind his rebirth. With a solemn gaze, Alexstrasza recounted their initial intentions, forged in the crucible of necessity, now tempered by the dawning of a new age, an era defined by peace and camaraderie. Eager to embrace his newfound role, Tyr was introduced to the stalwart defenders of his legacy, the Tyr's Guard. Gathered at their new bastion, Tyr's Rest, with a nod of assent, he accepted the mantle of leadership, ready to impart his wisdom and guidance to those who sought it. As Tyr settled into the sanctuary of Tyr's Rest alongside his loyal guard, a sense of curiosity mingled with the weight of responsibility. Trevard, ever dutiful, sought to discern Tyr's will in this unfamiliar era. In a moment of contemplation, Tyr confessed his need for understanding, admitting to the vast chasm of knowledge that separated him from the present reality. Questions lingered, like echoes of a forgotten past, beckoning him to unravel the mysteries of this changed world. Trevard, ever the steward of wisdom, shed light upon the fate of Tyr's once loyal Vrykul soldiers, now reborn as the resilient lineage of humanity. Stirred by this revelation, Tyr recognized the call to embrace his role as a beacon of knowledge and guidance. Thus, with clarity and purpose, Tyr's will took shape. A collective endeavor to bridge the chasm between past and present, to unravel the enigmas of this new age. The Tyr's Guard, steadfast in their loyalty, pledged themselves to this noble quest, eager to serve as both guardians and scholars in Tyr's pursuit of enlightenment. Across the lands of Azeroth, whispers of hope spread among the Paladin orders, fueled by the prospect of Tyr's return as a unifying force. Yet amidst these murmurs of anticipation, a question lingered in the hearts of many. Where would Tyr's path lead next? In the quiet moments that followed, Talthis, ever bold and resolute, dared to pose this question to Tyr himself. With a sage's wisdom and humility, Tyr expressed his desire to tread cautiously, to walk the roads of this unfamiliar world with a seeker's heart. For Tyr understood that true change began not with grand gestures or bold declarations, but with a humble willingness to listen, to learn, and to grow. And so with Tyr's Rest as their sanctuary and the journey of discovery as their guide, Tyr and his loyal guard embarked upon a quest that would shape the destiny of Azeroth itself. In the wake of his revival and subsequent discussions with the Paladins, Tyr found himself grappling with the vast chasm between the ancient past and the modern present. Though heartened by the continuation of his legacy through the Tyr's Guard and Knights of the Silver Hand, he couldn't shake the feeling of alienation from the world he once knew. Trevard, however, saw Tyr's return as a beacon of inspiration for those who upheld order, hinting at a deeper purpose yet to unfold, a sentiment Tyr hoped to embrace. Amidst the blossoming of Amirdrasil, Tyr and Kharanos embarked on a journey to the newly emerged World Tree. Reflecting on the changes around them, Tyr confided in Kharanos about his apprehensions regarding the transformed world and its unfamiliar inhabitants. Similarly, Kharanos admitted his own uncertainties about his newfound role. Yet in the midst of uncertainty, they found solace in the idea of observing and safeguarding this new world, leaving Tyr with much to contemplate as he ventured forward. Now we arrive at the final 4 keepers, but only one of them has a more intricate backstory, and that being Thorim. So let's cover Thorim first and then end on the remaining 3, Mimiron, Archytas, and Hodor. In the grand tapestry of cosmic history, Thorim emerged as one of the illustrious keepers, forged by the Pantheon's divine hand to stand as a bulwark against the encroaching darkness of the old gods. Blessed with formidable might by Golganeth himself, Thorim alongside Hodor and Ra waged epic battles against the formidable Alakir the Windlord, eventually vanquishing the elemental threat. Entrusted with the sacred duty of safeguarding Ulduar and the Terrace of the Makers, Thorim stood as a stalwart defender in the ancient pacts forged among the frosty races. Among his closest allies were the sons of Hodor, bound by bonds of friendship forged in the crucible of shared purpose. In a bygone era, the ingenious keeper Mimiron crafted the Thunderspark, a potent artifact that fueled the Titan Strike, a weapon of awe-inspiring power wielded by Thorim himself. Together they stood as champions of order and guardians of Azeroth's fragile balance. Yet tragedy darkened Thorim's path when corruption seeped into the hallowed halls of Ulduar, poisoning the minds of his brethren. Betrayed by the twisted machinations of Loken, Thorim was ensnared in a web of deceit, led to believe that his beloved wife Sif had been slain by the frost giants under King Argrim's command. Consumed by grief and righteous fury, Thorim unleashed his mighty hammer Krolmir in a cataclysmic act of vengeance. The thunderous impact of its descent rent the earth asunder, freezing the tragic tableau in eternal stasis, a grim monument to betrayal and loss, forever known as Thunderfall. Haunted by the specter of his beloved's demise, Thorim retreated to the solemn confines of the Temple of Storms, gripped by the weight of sorrow and regret. For millennia, he languished in a somber state, while the sons of Hodor grappled with the shocking betrayal that shattered their world. In the turbulent era of the Lich King's reign, a beacon of hope emerged from the shadows of despair. With the aid of intrepid adventurers, Thorim, once ensnared in the icy grip of sorrow, found redemption amidst the frigid peaks of Northrend. Awakened from his long slumber by the whispers of fate, Thorim resolved to confront the betrayer Loken and reclaim his tarnished honor. In a pact forged in the crucible of shared purpose, he joined forces with the stalwart adventurers, their hearts united in a quest for justice and redemption. Guided by the indomitable spirit of Thorim, the sons of Hodor rallied to his cause, beckoning brave souls to aid them in healing the wounds of old and bridging the chasm that divided Frost Giant and Keeper. Through acts of courage and compassion, the rift that once threatened to tear their kin asunder began to mend, paving the way for reconciliation and unity. In a fervent quest to reclaim his lost honor and seek vengeance against his deceitful kin, Thorim embarked on a daring campaign to confront his treacherous brother. Armed with his legendary weapon and clad in his armor, he marched forth to wage war against the shadows that had tainted his legacy. Yet unbeknownst to Thorim, his valiant pursuit was but a pawn in the twisted schemes of Loken, the mastermind behind the web of deception woven to ensnare the noble keeper. With cunning and guile, Loken orchestrated a malevolent scheme to lure Thorim from the sanctuary of the Temple of Storms, where his dark influence held sway. As Thorim fell into the trap laid by his duplicitous brother, he found himself ensnared in the clutches of darkness, his valiant spirit shackled by the insidious power of Yogg-Saron, the malevolent old god lurking within the depths of Ulduar. Alongside his faithful proto-drake Varanus, Thorim was whisked away to the heart of the ancient Titan stronghold, where the whispers of madness echoed throughout the corridors of his mind, and his once noble dragon was turned into what is now known as Razorscale. Following Ulduar and all the keepers being released from Yogg-Saron's control, we find Thorim and Legion next. Forged by the ingenious keeper Mimiron as a token of camaraderie for his esteemed ally Thorim, the legendary firearm known as Titan Strike bore witness to a tumultuous journey through time. Crafted with precision and imbued with the essence of thunderous might, this artifact of divine craftsmanship held within it the fabled Thunderspark, a source of unimaginable power coveted by mortals and titans alike. Yet as the tides of fate unfurled, Titan Strike found itself ensnared in the clutches of treachery and intrigue, pilfered from the hallowed halls of Ulduar, the gun embarked on a harrowing odyssey that led it to the windswept shores of Shield's Rest, nestled amidst the mysterious Broken Isles. Amidst the chaos of the Burning Legion's onslaught, the coveted relic fell once more into the hands of the Vrykul warrior of formidable prowess, Prostaga. Her ambitions ignited by the allure of divine power. With fervent determination, she set her sights on unearthing the Titan spark concealed within Titanstrike, harboring dreams of ascension to the ranks of the divine. In a clash of titanic proportions, Thorm, the stalwart guardian in the Temple of Storms, found himself thrust into the heart of the fray. Joined by the brilliant mind of Mimiron, the valiant hunter Griff Wildheart, who is actually a hunter from Dunmorrow who teaches the dwarf hunters there, and a familiar ally from battles long past, Thorm braced himself for a confrontation that would shape the fate of worlds. Against the backdrop of thunderous strikes and crackling energy, Thorm and his steadfast companions waged a battle of wills against the empowered Prostaga. Fueled by the primal energies coursing through Thunderstrike, she unleashed the full extent of her might in a bid to reshape the destiny of her people and defy the judgment of the Keepers. In a symphony of chaos and heroism, the fate of Thunderstrike hung in the balance, its storied legacy bound to the outcome of this epic struggle. As lightning danced across the battlefield and thunder echoed through the heavens, the destiny of worlds collided in a clash that would echo through the ages. In the heat of battle, amidst the crackling energies of Thunderstrike, a loyal companion emerged from the shadows. Hati, the faithful wolf, stood ready to defend its master. With primal instincts of flame and ferocity unmatched, Hati lunged forth, its fangs bared in a symphony of fury. As the thunderspark surged with unchecked power, threatening to consume both wielder and foe alike, Hati's valiant charge became a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. Sensing the imminent danger, the hunter forged a bond with their stalwart companion, intertwining their souls in a pact born of necessity and kinship. With newfound resolve, Thorm entrusted Titanstrike to the hunter's capable hands, charging them with the sacred duty to wield its thunderous might. United as one, Hunter and Wolf stood as champions against the encroaching darkness, their bond forged in battle and tempered by the fires of adversity. In the solemn halls of Ulduar, where ancient oaths bound the keepers to duty, a clarion call echoed through the realm. Heimdall, the vigilant guardian, sounded the Yaller horn, a call that stirred the very foundations of the Titan-forged stronghold. Yet as the reverberations of the horn faded, a shadow loomed over the hollowed halls. Thorm delivered grim tidings. The Burning Legion had set their sights on Ulduar's sacred domain. Bound by duty and honor, the Keepers stood poised to defend their ancestral home. In a bold display of unity, Odin, Lord of the Valajar, dispatched his stalwart warriors to bolster the defenders of Ulduar. Despite the Legion's relentless onslaught, Thorm rallied the forces of Ulduar, vowing to stand as one against the encroaching darkness. Amidst the chaos of battle, Hodor, Lord of Winter's Chill, fell into the clutches of the Legion's grasp. Undeterred by the odds stacked against them, Thorm marshaled the strength of Ulduar, pledging their aid to the valiant Valajar. Together they embarked on a daring rescue mission, braving the depths of the Legion's realm to free Hodor from his torment. With valor as their guide and unity as their shield, Thorm and his allies confronted the Legion's forces, determined to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. In the throes of the Fourth War's chaos, Thorm's sacred temple became a battleground once more. As the clash subsided, victory lay within their grasp, yet Thorm himself lay stricken, his strength waning. In a twist of fate, Griff and a valiant hunter bearing the weight of destiny upon their shoulders stumbled upon the essence of Hades amidst the aftermath of battle. With steely resolve, they faced the spectral remnant, confronting the echoes of past adversaries with courage and determination. In a clash of wills and steel, the hunters emerged triumphant, binding the essence within the Thunderspark, a beacon of hope amidst the darkness that threatened to engulf them all. As the essence dissipated, its hold over Thorm shattered, setting the Keeper free from his chains of torment. With renewed purpose burning in his heart, Thorm wasted no time, teleporting to the heart of Silithus, the Wound. There, amidst the scars of war and the lingering echoes of ancient evils, he invoked the power of Krolmir, a symbol of his indomitable will, to confront the essence of Hades once more. In a blaze of divine energy, Thorm unleashed his fury upon the spectral wolf, shattering its grip on Griff and banishing the shadows that sought to enslave them. With Hades' essence restored, a flicker of hope ignited in the darkness, a testament to the resilience of heroes in the face of adversity. Amidst the aftermath of the climactic conflict against the jailer, the brothers Bronzebeard made a pilgrimage to the hallowed grounds of the Temple of Storms, There they found Thorim, wrestling with the weight of his past. In their heartfelt exchange, the brothers sensed a glimmer of hope in Thorim's demeanor, a faint echo of the valor that once defined him. With genuine concern, they inquired about his loyal companion, the elusive Wolf Skull, and the whereabouts of Jotun, whose absence cast a shadow over the Dragonblight. Thorim, ever the enigma, offered cryptic responses, his gaze drifting into the horizon as if searching for answers in the windswept peaks. With a sheepish grin, he assured the brothers that Skull would find his way home in due time, though the mystery of Jotun's disappearance remained unresolved. As their conversation unfolded, Thorim's mind seemed adrift, his thoughts scattered like leaves in the tempest. Mistaking Bran for another, he brushed aside Muradin's suggestion with the dismissive wave, his focus tethered to the mysteries that lingered beyond the reaches of mortal comprehension. As I mentioned earlier, the remaining 3 figures in this tale don't have as much information, but let's start with Arquittus. He offers little more than what's already been shared in Tyr's narrative. One notable addition to his tale is his role in constructing the Chamber of Heart, a sanctuary dedicated to nurturing Azeroth's world soul. Following the events of the Winterscorn War and escaping the Cathraxi, both Arquittus and Ironea entered a deep hibernation within the vaults of Uldaman, their rest undisturbed until the arrival of intrepid adventurers many years later. Despite prevailing theories suggesting his dormancy, whispers persist that Arquittus is not deceased but rather incapacitated, leaving open the tantalizing possibility of his eventual reawakening. Now we move on to Mimiron. Following his triumph over Neptulon, Mimiron faced a dire turn of events orchestrated by the cunning Loken, who plotted his demise. Yet fortune favored the ingenious inventor, as his loyal Mechanome followers managed to salvage his essence and fashion a new mechanical body, ensuring his continued existence. However, the ordeal left Mimiron's mind in a precarious state, his once brilliant intellect clouded by lingering traces of instability. Subsequently, Mimiron and his fellow Watchers fell victim to corruption, ensnared within the malevolent confines of Ulduar. It was only through the courage and determination of brave adventurers that they were liberated from their sinister captors, emerging from the shadows to aid in the defense of Azeroth. In the tumultuous era of Legion's onslaught, Mimiron resurfaced, offering invaluable assistance to a courageous hunter seeking the legendary weapon known as Titan Strike, with giving the adventurer the idea to go and seek out Thorim and then helping save Hati after the fight. Later on, Mimiron helps adventurers locate Hati, whose spirit was thought to be lost after Titan Strike's power was expended against the Sword of Sargeras. But thanks to Mimiron, he figured out that Hati survived and could possibly be saved. Together with Griff, the Huntmaster, and Thorim, they ventured to Silithus to retrieve Hati's essence and bring him back to life. Thanks to their efforts, the loyal wolf was back with his master. As the saga unfolds, we turn our gaze to Hoder, the stalwart guardian of the Temple of Winter. His valor in the battle against Alakir the Windlord is but a prelude to the shadowy veil that shrouds his fate thereafter. Amidst the treacherous schemes of Loken, Hoder vanishes into the depths of obscurity, ensnared by the tendrils of deceit that grip the heart of Ulduar. In a tragic twist of fate, Loken's minions, fueled by malevolent intent, descended upon the sacred grounds of the Temple of Winter, casting a pall of destruction in their wake. The once serene haven is plunged into chaos, its tranquility shattered by the fury of the fire giant's onslaught. Caught in the grip of betrayal, Hoder's noble spirit is ensnared within the icy confines of Ulduar, his absence a haunting testament to the fragility of trust in the face of darkness. As the resounding call of the Yalar horn echoed through the hollowed halls of Ulduar, a solemn oath whispered through the ages, binding the keepers to its sacred summons. Yet, despite their unwavering allegiance, the Titanic Guardians found themselves shackled by the chains of circumstance. For in the shadows of invasion, the Burning Legion descended upon Ulduar's bastions. With grim determination, Odin rallied the Valajar, a beacon of hope amidst the encroaching darkness, as they clashed with the demonic legion in a desperate struggle for survival. Amidst the chaos of battle, Hoder chased the retreating demons through a shimmering portal, his mighty form disappearing into the abyss of unknown realms. In the shadowed realm of Niskara, Hoder's noble spirit became tainted by the insidious influence of the Legion, his once untarnished resolve twisted by the sinister schemes of his captors. Yet, in the face of despair, hope flickered like a solitary flame in the darkness, as Thorim and the Valajar ventured forth to free their fallen comrade from the shackles of corruption. With valor and determination, they waged a daring rescue mission, braving the depths of infernal realms to reclaim Hoder from the clutches of oblivion. And as they emerged triumphant, the Icy Guardian stood redeemed, his gratitude a testament to the unbreakable bonds forged in the crucible of battle. In a gesture of loyalty and solidarity, Hodor pledged himself to the cause of the Battle Lord, his valor immortalized within the halls of Skyhold, where he would stand as a stalwart champion against the encroaching shadows of darkness. In the wake of the conflict with the jailer, a welcome change descends upon the Temple of Winter. With Hodor's liberation, the frigid winds once more envelop the sanctuary, a testament to the enduring spirit of resilience and the triumph of hope amidst the darkness that threatens to engulf us all. In the vast expanse of existence, from the earliest moments of time's unfolding, whispers have stirred of malevolent entities lurking within the cosmic abyss. Born of the void, these mysterious beings yearn to distort reality into a realm of perpetual torment and chaos. Dubbed the Void Lords, their envy of the Pantheon's supremacy burned with unquenchable passion. Pooling their formidable powers, the Void Lords crafted the Old Gods, twisted embodiments of their sinister intent, with a singular goal in mind: to seize dominion over developing titans as they slumbered in their infancy. The Void Lords cast these abominations into the great dark beyond, in a desperate bid to find worlds housing dormant titan souls. Thus, like malevolent shadows, the Old Gods descended upon mortal realms, their presence an omen of corruption and decay, staining everything they touched in their relentless pursuit of the elusive world soul. Born from the primordial darkness of the void, the Old Gods wielded dominion over the very essence of their creators, granting them control over the shadows themselves. Mortal acolytes, drawn by the cryptic allure of these ancient horrors, delved into forbidden arts, flirting dangerously with the abyss of the Old Gods' influence. Among the remnants of the ancient Black Empire, the ritual dagger Xal'atath stood as a grim testament to the unholy pacts forged by the servants of the Old Gods. Wielded in blasphemous ceremonies by shadow priests, it whispered forbidden truths, a conduit to the sinister power of the void. In the eternal interplay between light and darkness, the Old Gods loomed as malevolent puppeteers, ceaselessly striving to bend the cosmos to their twisted will. Meanwhile, mortal souls danced perilously on the precipice of oblivion, ensnared by the seductive allure of their dark influence. Now we jump to the Black Empire, but if you've watched my Titans and Keepers video, this will sound familiar, but I felt it was important to throw into the Old Gods as it is important to their backstory, but figured I'd let you know just in case it sounds redundant. But either way, let's get into it. In ancient Azeroth lies a chilling tale of encroaching darkness, where the very fabric of existence trembled under the sinister presence of the Old Gods. These harbingers of chaos and ruin, Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, N'Zoth, and Yasharah, descended upon the realm from the boundless expanse of the great dark beyond, crashing into its surface with cataclysmic force. Each impact left a scar upon the land, embedding the malevolent entities into the very heart of Azeroth. A veil of despair unfurled across the land as the Old Gods extended their tendrils of corruption, ensnaring all in their path. From the Old Gods themselves emerged the Enraki, known as the Faceless Ones, and the Akir, born from the organic remnants of their master's colossal forms. These creations erected towering citadels and temple cities around the slumbering behemoths, their loyalty unyielding as they worshipped their overlords. Foremost among these structures stood the domain of Yasharah, epitome of the Old Gods' might, heralding the dawn of the Black Empire, a reign of terror that would shroud Azeroth in darkness for ages to come. As the Old Gods' dominion spread, they enslaved the once wild elementals that roamed the ancient landscape. Even the elemental lords joined forces in a desperate bid against the encroaching darkness. Yet despite their valor, they found themselves overwhelmed by the relentless tide of Enraki and Akir. Ragnaros, Neptulon, Al'Akir, and Therazane found themselves ensnared in the web of servitude spun by the Old Ones, and thus were forced to be the Old Gods' lieutenants. With no spirits of Azeroth to oppose their advance, the borders of the Black Empire expanded unchecked, casting the world into an abyss of perpetual twilight, where death and suffering reigned supreme. Thus Azeroth found itself ensnared in the clutches of unfathomable evil, a realm teetering on the brink of oblivion. Amidst the celestial expanse, the Titans' odyssey brought them to Azeroth, where they were met with a formidable resistance, the elemental forces, sworn to repel the Pantheon's advance in the name of their shadowy overlords. Recognizing the hunger for destruction that festered within the Old Gods, the Titans were compelled to act, igniting a cataclysmic war that would echo through the ages. Yet wary of the colossal power they wielded, and the delicate balance of Azeroth's world soul, the Titans refrained from direct confrontation. Instead, they forged mighty champions, the Titan Forged, to wage battle against the elemental legions of the Old Gods, In a titanic clash that shook the very foundations of the world, the Titan Forged emerged triumphant, sealing their adversaries within the newly forged elemental plane. But as the Titan Forged advanced towards the bastion of Yashara, dread gripped the hearts of the Pantheon. Fearing their creations would falter against the insurmountable might of the Old God, Aman'Thul the High Father reached down from the heavens, wrenching Yashara from Azeroth's surface in a massive upheaval. The Old God was torn from Azeroth's crust. Upon Yashara being ripped from the planet, in its place stood the Well of Eternity. Yet even in death, the Old God's grip upon Azeroth remained unyielding. Realizing the futility of eradication without risking the world's demise, the Pantheon commanded their Titan-forged servants to imprison the vile deities, rather than slay them. Thus commenced a grueling campaign, a relentless struggle to contain the remaining Old Gods beneath the world's surface. Through acts of courage and selflessness, the Titan-forged prevailed, ensuring the eternal imprisonment of the malevolent beings and safeguarding Azeroth from the encroaching darkness that sought to consume it. Thus, amidst the chaos of war and the clash of cosmic powers, the fate of Azeroth hung in a delicate balance. The fate of the Old Gods was sealed in fortresses created by the hands of the Titan-forged. Cthulhu, harbinger of darkness, found its vile essence ensnared within the formidable walls of Ahn'Qiraj, standing near the Titan-forged bastion of Uldum. Across the expanse of Azeroth, the mysterious prison of N'Zoth remained shrouded in mystery, its location obscured by the depths of the oceans, a chilling reminder of the Old God's elusive grip upon the world's secrets. And finally, Yogg-Saron stood as the last bastion of darkness, unleashing its monstrous Cathraxi generals in a desperate bid to stem the tide of the Titan-forged advance. But even the mightiest of foes could not withstand the relentless onslaught of the Keepers, who bound the malevolent entity beneath the hollowed halls of Ulduar, a Titan city watched over by 6 vigilant guardians. Thus the saga of imprisonment unfolded, a testament to the titanic struggle between light and darkness, as the world of Azeroth bore witness to the eternal dance of cosmic forces. The tendrils of Yogg-Saron and his fellow Old Gods insidiously wound their way into the very essence of Azeroth's creations. Among these, the Earthen, proud progeny of the Titans, were not spared from the creeping corruption of the Curse of Flesh. This affliction, a malevolent touch upon their stony forms, brought on a profound transformation, turning their once resilient bodies to flesh. But the curse's reach extended beyond the Earthen alone, from the stoic Mechanomes to the majestic Tol'vir, from the indomitable Mogu to the stalwart Vrykul. All fell prey to this insidious influence. Stone shattered, metal rusted, as their bodies succumbed to this inexorable tide of change. Even the mighty Vrykul, with their ironclad visage, found themselves diminished, birthing smaller, weaker kin, a mockery of their former glory. It seemed the Old God's design was to subvert the Titans' creations from within, a scheme that bore fruit with each corrupted breath. In this transitional state, they navigated the precarious balance between order and chaos, their very existence a testament to the ceaseless struggle between creation and corruption, light and darkness, in the ever-shifting tapestry of Azeroth's history. Towards the end of their guardianship over a realm teetering on the brink of corruption, the Titans undertook meticulous measures to safeguard the world they had wrought. Among their arsenal of safeguards, the Keepers, custodians of ancient wisdom and boundless power, a race of stalwart guardians destined to inhabit the sealed realms of their creation. At the helm of this grand endeavor stood Keeper Odin, appointed as prime designate of Azeroth, entrusted with the solemn duty of preserving the realm's fragile balance. The Keepers bestowed upon Azeroth 5 mighty dragon aspects, paragons of elemental power and guardians of the world's sanctity, even though Odin did not want to grant them that power. He felt that the Titan-forged were better equipped to handle any of that. Each aspect was charged with a sacred duty, to watch over and protect Azeroth in the Titans' absence, to stand as sentinels against the encroaching darkness, and to ensure that the world remained untainted by the pervasive corruption that threatened to consume it. Thus, amidst the shadows of impending departure, the Titans forged a legacy of resilience and vigilance, entrusting the fate of Azeroth to the unwavering guardianship of its protectors. In the books of Azeroth's history, the legend of Galakrond looms large, a titanic proto-dragon whose monstrous rampage across the icy expanse of Northrend threatened to consume all in his path. Yet amidst the chaos stood Keeper Tyr and the nascent dragon aspects, rallying to confront this primal menace, their grand deeds forever etched in the scrolls of time. However, whispers lingered in the winds of fate, hinting at a darker truth, the insidious hand of the Old Gods lurking behind Galakrond's savage fury. While the dragon aspects stood as bastions of protection, their destinies intertwined with the very fabric of Azeroth. One among them harbored a hidden darkness. Neltharion, later known as Deathwing, bore a profound connection to the depths of the world, an affinity that would ultimately unravel the fabric of his sanity. In the aftermath of the cataclysmic war of the Ancients, Malygos withdrew into seclusion, haunted by the echoes of his loss and the relentless march of time. As millennia passed, the weight of solitude bore down upon him, driving him inexorably towards madness. Nozdormu, the Timeless One, glimpsed through the veils of time, saw the tendrils of corruption woven by the old gods, entwining Malygos in a web of insanity. Thus, amidst the ebb and flow of cosmic forces, the fate of the dragon aspects became entangled with the machinations of ancient evils. In a tale woven with deceit and despair, Loken's affair with Thorm's beloved wife Sif proved to be a catalyst for his descent into the clutches of Yogg-Saron's insidious influence. Blinded by guilt and consumed by fear, Loken succumbed to the whispers of the ancient corruption, committing the ultimate betrayal by taking Sif's life and cunningly shifting the blame to Arngrim of the Frost Giants. This treacherous act ignited a devastating conflict between the Frost Giants and Thorm, plunging the realm into chaos and strife. Yet Loken's plans did not end there. With a deceitful hand, he marshaled his own army, forged within the depths of the Forge of Wills. Little did he know that this very army bore the mark of Yogg-Saron's curse, the insidious curse of flesh, that would sow discord amongst the Titan-forged races. Enveloping civilizations in its sinister grasp, Thorm, burdened by the weight of betrayal and loss, retreated to his throne, succumbing to a deep sadness that would endure for eons, casting a shadow over his kingdom for millennia to come. Driven to the brink of madness by his own deeds and the looming specter of Algalon the Observer's judgment, Loken found himself teetering on the precipice of desperation. In a bid to escape the wrath of the Pantheon, he willingly surrendered to the seductive whispers of Yogg-Saron, hoping to wield its dark power as a shield against his inevitable downfall. Loken committed the ultimate betrayal, snuffing out the life of Mimiron, who was on the cusp of uncovering his treachery. Yet even in death, Mimiron's essence persisted, transferring into a new mechanical form by the ingenious mechanomes. Empowered by the malevolent influence of Yogg-Saron, Loken ensnared Keeper Hodor and Freya in a web of enchantment, bending them to his will with twisted ease. With cunning persuasion, he coerced Helya, the first Valkyr, into sealing the sacred halls of Valor, ensnaring Odin and the Valajar within their celestial confines. Only one obstacle remained in Loken's path: the steadfast constellar, Algalon. Manipulating the very fabric of Ulduar's systems, Loken usurped the mantle of Prime Designate, granting himself dominion over the Titan's alert mechanisms. With calculated precision, he sabotaged these systems, ensuring that no plea for aid would reach Algalon, leaving the cosmos vulnerable to his dark schemes. As Keeper Ra realized the Pantheon had been snuffed out, a profound sense of despair engulfed him, driving him to retreat from the world, his soul heavy with the grief at the loss of his divine creators. Alone and consumed by sorrow, he withdrew into the depths of solitude, seeking solace in the silent embrace of isolation. Meanwhile, amidst the chaos unleashed by Loken's betrayal, the valiant keepers Tyr and Arquidus refused to yield to despair. Rallying the varied races of Earthen, Mechanomes, Vrykul, and the vigilant watcher Ironea, they embarked on a daring exodus to the southern reaches, fleeing from the wrath of their corrupted kin. In a daring act of defiance, they seized the sacred axe of Norgannon, repositories of timeless knowledge, hoping to preserve the truth of their tumultuous journey for the Titan's eventual return. However, Loken, fueled by the dark whispers of Yogg-Saron, dispatched two fearsome Cathraxi minions to thwart their escape. In a selfless act of heroism, Tyr sacrificed himself to ensure the group's survival, buying them precious time to flee the clutches of their pursuers. As they pressed onward to Sanctuary, the Vrykul remained behind, paying homage to the fallen keeper at the site of his noble sacrifice. Guided by Arquidus' unwavering leadership, the weary refugees found respite within the ancient halls of Ulduman, where they safeguarded the precious discs and entered a deep slumber, awaiting the dawn of a new era. In a chilling display of cunning strategy, Yogg-Saron ensnared the keepers of Northrend, including Loken, in a web of lethargy and obedience. Rather than exerting its influence to its limits, Yogg-Saron opted for a calculated approach, ensuring its grip remained firm by lulling its captives into a state of complacency and dormancy. Content with the triumph it had achieved, Yogg-Saron shrewdly refrained from overreaching, recognizing the peril of risking its hard-won dominion. Instead of risking exposure by extending its influence too far, it chose to bask in the glory of its conquest, patiently awaiting the unfolding of its dark designs from the depths of Ulduar's sinister confines. Now we jump forward to the War of the Ancients. As fate cast its shadow over Azeroth, the old gods found themselves caught off guard by the unexpected arrival of the Burning Legion, whose invasion posed a dire threat to their very existence and to the slumbering world soul they coveted for corruption. 10 millennia in the past, amidst the tumultuous reign of Queen Azshara and her ambitious highborn, a sinister plan took shape. Their aim was to tear open a portal vast and potent enough to usher forth the malevolent titan Sargeras in all his terrible glory. In response, the wise dragon aspect Alexstrasza sought counsel with her brethren, invoking the aid of each revered aspect. Amongst these illustrious dragons, it was Neltharion, leader of the Black Dragonflight and known as the Earthwarder, who devised a daring scheme to confront the looming catastrophe. Teaming up with his trusted ally Malygos, Neltharion proposed the creation of a seemingly simple yet profoundly potent artifact, a golden disc infused with the combined might of all the aspects. This legendary relic, dubbed the Dragon Soul, held within its gleaming surface a power so immense that no force, be it within Azeroth or beyond, could hope to withstand its might. In the face of mounting omens and dire prophecies, the Dragonkin stood united, ready to wield the Dragon Soul as their ultimate weapon against the encroaching darkness. Persuaded by Neltharion's impassioned plea, the other aspects lent their strength to the creation of this legendary artifact. Amidst the hollowed halls of dragonkind, a shadow lurked, unbeknownst to the vigilant eyes of his fellow aspects. Neltharion found himself ensnared by the haunting whispers of the imprisoned old gods, whose ancient malevolence pulsed within the very heart of the earth he swore to protect. For untold ages, these insidious entities had schemed and plotted, their insatiable hunger for power driving them to bend Neltharion to their will. Crafters of manipulation and masters of deception, the old gods harbored a sinister agenda, to harness the cataclysmic might of the dread titan Sargeras and bend it to their own malevolent desires. Through whispers and promises they sought to corrupt the noble Neltharion, a weapon of unimaginable destruction poised to unleash chaos upon the world. With cunning precision they wove their dark machinations, manipulating events from the shadows, all in the pursuit of their ultimate goal, the shattering of Azeroth's ancient bonds and the dawn of their long-awaited freedom. Yet amidst the looming threat of oblivion, a glimmer of hope emerged. In a twist of fate unforeseen, Illidan Stormrage, wielding the legendary Dragon Soul alongside his brother Malfurion, rose to defy the encroaching darkness. Unaware of the true extent of his actions, Illidan sealed the portal, unwittingly thwarting the old god's vile scheme and preserving Azeroth from certain doom. A millennia-spanning saga unfolded as sinister tendrils of the old gods once again sought to unleash chaos upon the realms of Nozdormu, the timeless guardian of time itself. With calculated precision, they sundered the fabric of reality, weaving a tapestry of temporal upheaval designed to alter the course of history itself. They dispatched unwitting pawns, individuals whose mere existence in the past would set in motion a series of events culminating in the return of Sargeras, and with him, the promise of their own liberation. Their insidious plans aimed to rewrite the history of the War of the Ancients, reshaping destiny to suit their dark desires. However, their grand design met an unexpected obstacle in the form of Krasis, Ronan, and Broxigar, stalwart warriors thrust unwillingly into the tumultuous currents of time by the hand of Nozdormu himself. United by fate and bound by a common purpose, these courageous souls stood firm against the tide of chaos, thwarting the old god's nefarious scheme and preserving the fragile balance of history. Yet this temporal clash was but a footnote in the accounts of cosmic conflict, a mere skirmish in the eternal struggle between light and shadow. For behind the scenes, Nozdormu had waged a silent war of his own, thwarting the old god's initial attempt to unravel the fabric of time itself with unwavering resolve. Though the scars of battle marred the fabric of reality, the balance endured, a testament to the enduring strength of those who dared to stand against the forces of darkness. In the midst of Azeroth's ancient history, a haunting greenish ore surfaced, casting a shadow of unease across the land. Known as Saronite, its sinister properties stirred deep concern among the Night Elves, who grappled with its sudden and ominous appearance. Determined to curb its spread, the astute druid Fandral Stagholm devised a daring plan, drawing upon the mystical energies of Nordrassil, the revered world tree. Planting its branches far and wide, Fandral aimed to harness the tree's potent magic to contain the encroaching darkness, focusing particularly on a sprawling deposit of Saronite nestled within the grisly hills of Northrend. As time unfurled its tapestry, the branches grew into towering arboreal guardians, their roots intertwining with the very essence of the land. In the heart of Northrend, amidst the frost-choked expanse, one such sapling flourished, ascending to the lofty heights of the world tree in its own right, dubbed Antrasil, or Crown of the Snow. This magnificent arboreal sentinel stood as a testament to Fandral's ingenuity and the enduring resilience of nature. Yet, unbeknownst to the denizens of Azeroth, the roots of Andrasil delved deeper than they could fathom, entwining with secrets that would shape the fate of the world for millennia to come. While Andrasil's towering presence stood as a beacon of hope, its verdant branches reaching toward the heavens, beneath its majestic canopy, a darkness festered, unseen and insidious. Unbeknownst to the world above, Andrasil's roots delved deep, unwittingly breaching the prison of the malevolent old god, Yogg-Saron. With each passing moment, the ancient corruption seeped into the land, twisting the minds of the Tonka and the forest nymphs into a frenzy of violence and madness. Even the vigilant eyes of the Cenarian Circle could not deny the truth. Andrasil had become a vessel of corruption, its very essence tainted by the touch of darkness. In a desperate bid to stem the tide of corruption, the Druids took decisive action, laying waste to the once proud world tree and renaming it Vordrasil, a grim reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath its boughs. Yet the true extent of Andrasil's legacy would only reveal itself in the fullness of time. Unbeknownst to the mortal realm, Yogg-Saron's malevolent influence had reached far beyond the physical realm, breaching the sacred realm of the Emerald Dream. With a foothold established, the old god seized upon the newfound avenue of corruption, with N'Zoth in particular taking keen interest in sowing the seeds of chaos within the ethereal realm. Thus, from the depths of darkness, the Emerald Nightmare emerged, a twisted reflection of the world's deepest fears and darkest desires, its tendrils spreading ever outward, ensnaring the unwary in its suffocating grasp. And so the legacy of Andrasil, once a symbol of hope and renewal, became irrevocably intertwined with the encroaching shadows that threatened to engulf Azeroth in eternal darkness. Through the ebb and flow of ages, Cthulhu, the malevolent old god, wove its web of corruption, whispering dark promises to its devoted Karaji minions. Together they carved out a bastion of darkness amidst the shifting sands of Silithus, the formidable fortress temple known as Ahn'Qiraj. Patiently biding its time, Cthulhu awaited the moment when its forces would swell to a crescendo, poised to challenge the Night Elves for supremacy over the continent of Kalimdor itself. Thus dawned the War of the Shifting Sands, a cataclysmic clash that would echo through the books of history. Corrupted Titan constructs like the stoic Tol'vir marched alongside the relentless Silithid hordes and cunning Karaji leaders, intent on driving the Kaldorei from their ancestral lands. Despite the valiant efforts of the Night Elves led by the brilliant Archdruid Fandral Staghelm, the tide of battle turned against them. Tragedy struck with the death of Fandral's son, driving the Night Elves from Silithus and paving the way for Cthulhu's imminent victory. Yet in a twist of fate, the combined might of the Dragonflights and the stalwart defenders of Kalimdor rallied to stem the tide of darkness. Faced with the looming specter of an apocalyptic conflict, a desperate solution emerged. The Karaji and their malevolent master were sealed within the very heart of Ahn'Qiraj, bound by the mystical barrier known as the Scaleborn. In a bitter act of defiance, Fandral Staghelm shattered the scepter of the Shifting Sands, sealing the fate of Ahn'Qiraj and casting a shadow of sorrow over the land. Previously, I mentioned about the worshippers of the old gods, but never said much more than that, but I figured it'd be a good time to mention it now. The depth to which sentient beings succumb to the dark influence of the old gods remains veiled in mystery, yet those most attuned to the haunting whispers have congregated under the banner of the Twilight's Hammer, a formidable alliance bound by fervent allegiance to their supernatural masters. Driven by zealous fervor, the disciples of the old gods sow chaos and discord across Azeroth's lands, their corrupted footsteps leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. As ancient whispers echo through the corridors of civilization, the true scope of the old god's sway remains elusive, lurking within the fragile confines of sanity. Within the murky abyss of fanaticism, followers and cultists relinquish their sanity, transforming into malevolent entities beyond recognition. Some take on grotesque forms like the Faceless Ones or Elemental Ascendants, manifestations of the occult grip upon their souls. Amidst this maelstrom of chaos, a dark figure emerges as a harbinger of the old god's will. Cho'Gall, the ogre mage, stands as the formidable champion of Cthulhu, binding mortals to the ancient entity's will with arcane mastery. Under his leadership, the Twilight's hammer rises as the epicenter of mortal devotion, drawing the fractured and devoted into its shadowy embrace. From the desolation of Silithus to the abyss of Blackrock depths, the followers of the old gods gather, lured by the whispers of awakening power. Here, amid the ruins of civilization, they await the resurgence of Cthulhu, or pledge allegiance to Ragnaros the Fire Lord, alongside the Dark Iron Dwarves. An unholy convergence of mortal and malevolent, united in their reverence for darkness. In the heart of the Eastern Kingdoms lies the Twilight Highlands, a realm cloaked in darkness, where the largest bastions of the Twilight's hammer thrive. At Grim Batal in the foreboding Bastion of Twilight, the faithful gather, drawn by the allure of ancient power and the promise of unfathomable darkness. Yet amidst this congregation of malevolence, another race pays homage to a fallen deity. The Mantid, akin to the Karaji and Nerubians, still revere Yashara, the ancient old god vanquished by the Pantheon in ages past. Their unwavering devotion serves as a poignant reminder of the old god's enduring legacy, their dark influence transcending the confines of time and space to ensnare the souls of the faithful. In the aftermath of their defeat amidst the shattered lands of the Broken Isles during the Second War, Cho'Gall and the remnants of the Twilight's Hammer cult embarked on a daring voyage across the endless expanse of the Great Sea, their destination shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Drawn by the haunting whispers of the malevolent old gods, whose dark promises beckoned from the distant shores of the mysterious continent of Kalimdor, Cho'Gall and his loyal followers sought to unravel the secrets that lay hidden within its ancient lands. Their journey, however, did not go unnoticed. Hot on their trail was Garona, the renowned assassin and former pawn of the Shadow Council, her sights set on tracking down the last remnants of the nefarious organization that once held her in its control. In the turbulent aftermath of the cataclysmic Third War, the insidious whispers of the old gods slithered through the ether, drawn to the fiery ambition burning within Illidan's storm rage. With a hunger for power that mirrored their own insatiable desires, Illidan cast a spell of profound magnitude, beckoning forth the serpentine Naga to answer his call. Led by Lady Vash, the Naga pledged their allegiance not out of reverence for Illidan's demonic prowess, nor from any shared history, but from a deeper, more sinister compulsion, the will of the old gods themselves. They sensed in Illidan's quest to vanquish the Lich King the seeds of a new conflict, one that would engulf Azeroth in a maelstrom of chaos, pitting undead, demons, and mortal nations against one another. In the swirling vortex of this looming conflict, Cho'Gall and his cultists saw an opportunity to awaken their dark masters with minimal resistance. Viewing Illidan as a potent catalyst for discord, the old gods orchestrated the Naga's involvement in his crusade against the Lich King, confident in his ability to sow the seeds of conflict across the world. Yet, should Illidan stray from their designs or become a hindrance to their machinations, the Naga stood ready to execute their master's will with ruthless efficiency, prepared to sever the ties that bound him to his corrupted legacy. Thus, amidst the chaos of war, the stage was set for a confrontation that would shape the fate of Azeroth itself, with Illidan's Stormrage standing at the nexus of power and peril. Now we jump into the actual game with the events of Cthulhu within Classic. In Azeroth's history, a dark chapter unfolded when the sinister whispers of an old god Cthulhu stirred unrest beyond the Scarab Wall. As a malevolent force threatened to spill forth, the vigilant bronze dragon Anachronos sounded the call to arms, uniting the factions of the Alliance and Horde in a desperate bid to thwart the encroaching darkness. With determined resolve, the champions of Azeroth labored tirelessly, forging anew the legendary Scepter of the Shifting Sands, unlocking the ancient barrier that held back the tide of Karaji horrors. As the Scarab Wall crumbled, the might of Kalimdor stood ready to confront the looming threat, bracing for a battle that would echo through the ages. In a titanic clash of wills and steel, the combined forces of the Alliance and Horde clashed with the relentless Karaji legions, pushing them back within the confines of their city. Yet the true test lay within the heart of the ancient stronghold, where valiant adventurers from both factions ventured forth to confront the twisted horrors lurking within. In the shadowed depths of the Karaji lair, they faced the ultimate challenge, the malevolent presence of Cthulhu itself. With courage and determination, they stood as beacons of hope against the encroaching darkness, battling against the insurmountable odds to vanquish the ancient evil once and for all. In the aftermath of the harrowing battle, The echoes of victory resonated across the sands of Silithus, a testament to the indomitable spirit of unity and heroism that defined the champions of Azeroth. Yet even as the dust settled and the scars of battle faded, the memory of their triumph would endure as a beacon of hope in the face of adversity. In the ancient records of Azeroth's history, Yogg-Saron is a profoundly malevolent old god. He wielded a chaotic tyranny that reverberated across the world. He orchestrated the creation of the Curse of Flesh, a malevolent design aimed at assimilating the Titans' ingenious creations. When the Titans engaged in a cosmic war against the Old Gods, aiming to obliterate their citadels, a grim revelation surfaced. The infestation of these entities had become so entwined with Azeroth that eradicating the Old Gods would spell the doom of the world itself. Faced with this dire conundrum, the Pantheon opted for a different strategy. Rather than obliterating the Old Gods, they chose to neutralize their power and bind them within Azeroth for the enduring lifespan of the world. Yogg-Saron found its home in the depths of Ulduar, nestled in the far northern realms of the flourishing planet. 6 Titanic Watchers, Loken, Thorim, Hodor, Tyr, Mimiron, and Freya, were appointed as vigilant custodians, tasked with ensuring the near-eternal captivity of this malevolent force. Yet the imprisonment was not absolute. Yogg-Saron's malevolent influence manifested as Saronite, a dark substance that permeated the continent, crystallizing and corrupted all it touched. The whispers of the imprisoned entity insinuated themselves with the Saronite, seducing many into the throes of madness, including the Keeper Loken. The haunting legacy of Yogg-Saron's presence echoed through the ages, leaving a lingering mark on Azeroth. For eons, Yogg-Saron held the Keepers, including Loken, in a quiet and complacent state. His influence over them was feeble, struggling to convince them to directly serve the Old God. However, the arrival of Cho'Gall from Twilight's Hammer clan changed the game. Cho'Gall weakened Yogg-Saron's chains, unleashing an iron-strong surge of influence over the Keepers. Yogg-Saron's malevolence extended beyond Ulduar, corrupting the roots of the world tree Vordrasil, leading to the creation of the Emerald Nightmare. Despite the immediate destruction of Vordrasil, the corruption persisted, affecting the Grizzlemaw Furbolgs, who later inhabited its remains. Yogg-Saron's impact on Azeroth's history became evident during the Ulduar raid, where adventurers witnessed visions connected to key moments in the world's past. First, the creation of the Dragon Soul by Neltharion and the other dragon aspects emerged during the War of the Ancients, marking the cataclysmic Great Sundering. The assassination of King Lane by Garona followed, sealing the fate of Stormwind at the conclusion of the First War. Lastly, a haunting vision materialized, revealing the Lich King's torment of Bolvar Fordragon, destined to become the new Lich King after Arthas Menethil's demise. Within the eerie echoes of this final vision, the voice of Yogg-Saron resonated, proclaiming a prophecy that would unfold with Arthas' defeat by the Ashen Verdict. He will learn, no king rules forever, only death is eternal. These foreboding words, chillingly echoed by tyrannous Menethil's spirit in his final moments, marked the unavoidable path of destiny and demise. As the old god's voice echoed prophecies during the encounter, foretelling the demise of kings and the eternal nature of death, adventurers from the Alliance and Horde, guided by Bran Bronzebeard, rose to the challenge and ultimately defeated Yogg-Saron. War Chief Garrosh Hellscream's call to arms plunged the Alliance and Horde into a tumultuous conflict. Amidst the chaos, adventurers from both factions were drawn to the shores of Pandaria, a land veiled in secrecy and ancient mysteries. There, amidst the lush landscapes and serene beauty, a sinister force lurked in the shadows, the Shah, a malevolent corruption fueled by the darkest depths of mortal emotion. As the Alliance and Horde delved deeper into Pandaria's mysteries, they uncovered the haunting truth behind this insidious presence. Initially believed to be linked to the legendary ruler Xiaohao and his valiant efforts to shield his people from the ravages of the Burning Legion and the cataclysmic Great Sundering, the true origins of the Shah remained shrouded in uncertainty. Yet as the adventurers ventured further into the heart of Pandaria, the veil of deception began to unravel, revealing a dark source far more ancient and sinister than anyone could have imagined. As the conflict in Pandaria dragged on, Garrosh Hellscream's thirst for victory consumed him, plunging him deeper into a maelstrom of bloodlust and megalomania. Desperate to tip the scales in his favor, he turned to the dark arts, commanding the Bilgewater cartel to unleash the secrets hidden within the sacred veil of eternal blossoms. What they unearthed shook the very foundations of Azeroth, an artifact of unimaginable power pulsating with the lingering essence of the deceased old god, Yashara. This relic, the beating heart of ancient evil, held the true genesis of the Shah, a force that had plagued Pandaria for millennia. Garrosh's loyal lieutenant, Malkarok, claimed the artifact for the Horde. Its ominous presence fueled their dark ambitions. With the waters of the Vale, Garrosh breathed new life into the heart of darkness, infusing it with newfound vigor within the depths of his stronghold, the Underhold. Hung as a grim trophy within his throne room, the pulsating heart became the focal point of Garrosh's twisted plans. Envisioning the rise of a new order, the True Horde, the artifact whispered promises of conquest and dominion, igniting Garrosh's fervor for power. With the heart as his unholy catalyst, Garrosh delved into forbidden sorcery, twisting Malkarok into a grotesque dire orc and forging a weapon of unparalleled malevolence for himself. Thus armed with the might of an ancient evil, Garrosh stood poised to unleash a reign of terror upon Azeroth, his thirst for conquest fueled by the pulsating beat of the Heart of Darkness. United in an unprecedented alliance, the forces of the Alliance and Horde rallied under the banner of a fearless band of adventurers, their sights set on Orgrimmar, the seat of Garrosh's tyranny. With determination in their hearts and steel in their hands, they laid siege to the city's walls, prepared to confront the embodiment of their greatest adversary. Through the treacherous depths of the Underhold they ventured, facing untold horrors and insurmountable odds to reach Garrosh's inner sanctum. As the clash of arms reverberated through the chamber, the fate of Azeroth hung in the balance. In a final desperate bid for victory, Garrosh unleashed the full might of the Heart of Yashara, channeling its dark power in a bid to turn the tide of battle. But even the mightiest of weapons could not withstand the combined resolve of the Alliance and Horde, and in a climactic showdown, Garrosh was vanquished. As the echoes of battle faded, the sinister power of Yashara waned, its malevolent influence dissipating into the ether. All that remained was a fleeting remnant, a fading breath, a haunting reminder of the price paid for victory. Now there is a section in the wiki talking about the old gods during Legion, but really during that time we don't deal with them directly. Same thing with Cataclysm and the book Stormrage. But in Legion, we fight the Emerald Nightmare, which was created by Yogg-Saron's corruption of the dream, but we don't deal with anything directly with the old gods. And I can always make a separate video talking about Xavius and the Nightmare corruption and all of that. But the next time we actually deal with an old god directly is in Battle for Azeroth. In the wake of the Legion's demise and the revival of open conflict between the Alliance and Horde, the insidious whispers of the old gods grew ever louder, particularly in the schemes of the cunning N'Zoth. Amidst the storm-tossed shores of Koltiris, N'Zoth and his loyal servant Queen Azshara wove their dark web, ensnaring the noble Tide Sages in their sinister plans. These once respected guardians were transformed into the horrifying Kathir, puppets to the will of their malevolent masters. Meanwhile, in the shadowed forest of Drustvar, an ominous secret lay concealed within the heart of the land. Alliance emissaries stumbled upon the cryptic workings of the Heartsbane Coven, practitioners of dark magic that drew upon a power rooted in the mysterious death realm of Thros. Unbeknownst to them, this grim realm was but a twisted offshoot of the Emerald Nightmare, its tendrils reaching across the veil between life and death. As tensions escalated and darkness gathered, the true extent of N'Zoth's influence began to unfurl, crafting a web of deceit and corruption poised to envelop the world in darkness. In the face of this looming threat, heroes arose, their resolve tested as they ventured into the heart of darkness to confront the ancient evils that sought to unravel the fabric of reality itself. In the ancient heart of Zandalar, a sinister alliance unfurled its dark design. The artificial old god G'huun, bound by chains of imprisonment within the depths of Uldir, struck a dire bargain with the cunning troll prophet Zol. In exchange for freedom from its ancient confines, G'huun pledged its unholy allegiance to Zul, promising to ascend as the Loa of a new troll empire, a pact sealed in blood and shadow. As the wheels of fate turned, a dark resurgence gripped the land. From the depths of oblivion, a Cathrax named Mithrax was resurrected. Fueled by the insatiable thirst for power that coursed through the veins of the Sethrak Korthik and his troll confidant, Jakrazit. With G'huun's insidious influence spreading like a plague, its forces rallied to shatter the seals of its prison within Uldir. United in purpose, Zol and Mithrax spearheaded a relentless assault, leading a horde of zealous blood trolls in a ferocious siege upon the sacred city of Dazar'alor. Though Zol met his demise amidst the chaos of battle, Mithrax, undeterred by the loss, unleashed a devastating assault upon the seal positioned within Dazar'alor's hallowed halls. With a thunderous roar, the seal shattered. Its ancient wards crumbled beneath the weight of G'huun's boundless hunger for dominion. As the tendrils of G'huun's corruption snaked through the ethereal realms of the Shadowlands, chaos reigned supreme. Spirits twisted and warped, their once pure essences tainted by the insidious touch of the Blood God. In a moment of revelation, the Zandalari princess Talanji, alongside the Horde emissary Rokan and Master Gadrin, received a dire message from the spirit of Vol'jin himself. The time had come to confront the source of this malevolent scourge, to assail the heart of Uldir and vanquish G'huun once and for all. With determination burning bright in their hearts, a courageous band of Horde adventurers led by the resolute Talanji descended into the depths of the Titan Forge stronghold. Amidst the complex halls and shadowed corridors, they faced the full wrath of the Blood God's minions, their resolve tested with every step. Yet against all odds, they emerged triumphant, their blades stained with the blood of the fallen deity. To seal the victory and quell any doubts, Vol'jin's glaive, imbued with the spirit of the fallen hero, was plunged into the very heart of G'huun, a testament to the enduring strength of the Horde and the valor of those who dared to stand against the darkness. As Azeroth's champion endeavored to infuse the heart of Azeroth with newfound power, the malevolent whispers of the old gods sought to disrupt the sacred ritual. From the shadows, Enraki assailants emerged, intent on thwarting the adventurer's noble quest. Meanwhile, Queen Azshara, fueled by the potent energies of Azerite harnessed by the heart of Azeroth, orchestrated a cunning scheme. With calculated precision, she shattered the ancient bonds restraining N'Zoth, unleashing the malevolent entity upon the world. The stage was set for the awakening of Ny'alotha, the sleeping city. An ancient bastion of darkness poised to unleash its horrors upon Azeroth. Under the sinister command of N'Zoth, the forces of the Black Empire surged forth, threatening to engulf the world in a tide of chaos and despair. Within the nightmarish depths of Ny'alotha, champions of Azeroth braved unspeakable horrors and confronted twisted heralds of madness, their courage the only barrier against the encroaching darkness. Their fates intertwined in a struggle for the very survival of Azeroth. In a stroke of divine intervention, the heart of Azeroth unleashed the cataclysmic power of the Forge of Origination, empowered by the ancient engine of Nalak Shah, laying waste to the abomination that was N'Zoth and his accursed realm. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded, Magni Bronzebeard declared Azeroth liberated from the clutches of the old gods, heralding a new era of hope and renewal for the embattled world. And that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you did enjoy. This one was interesting to work on, but I think I covered everything. If I missed anything, let me know down below. But if you did make it this far, and you enjoyed it, maybe consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel out, and I would appreciate it. But with all that said, I'll see you in the next one. Do take care of yourself. You're doing great. Don't be too hard on yourself. Life is hard enough as it is. Take care.